welcome to Spa, and welcome to the World Sim Series Dream to Drive Championship. It is the quarterfinals for the TOPO Centras group. We had the Voco group doing their quarterfinals yesterday, and those went through a few interesting races, and this time we've got smaller groups, only groups of what would have been a maximum of 8. We've got 7 in groups 1 and 2, and then 6 in groups 3 and 4. And the top 8 will go on through to the semi-final. Again, same concept of the points getting added up, and you'll be seeing a lot more Lithuanian faces, although we do have one Estonian driver, and that might be it, but we do have one Estonian driver, so a more local championship run this time, and this is Group 1, the fastest group, or would-be fastest group. It's again the same way of putting drivers into their groups, and Tadas Juknevičius quickest in the pre-qualifying. He's definitely one of the favorites for this championship overall, and to win that prize of racing in the 992 Cup car with Dream to Drive. And I'm joined, as always, by Logan.
Hi Gustas, and hello everyone. Welcome to the second quarterfinals, the TOPO Centras, as Gustas already mentioned. Drivers gathered in one place in Vilnius, in TOPO Centras store, one of the stores. You could see the action briefly, and you can see it in the small window on the right side. The drivers sit near each other, and after the races they will have the ability to talk to each other if something goes wrong. So I think we'll see a slightly more relaxed races. Of course, we have less cars on the racetrack, on the virtual racetrack, just because all the drivers participate from one place. 7 drivers in the first group. Tadas Juknevičius crossing the line and setting the provisional pole position to 20.9. In comparison, we had a lap time of 2 minutes 19 seconds and 9 tenths, I believe, which was the fastest yesterday in the second Voco group. So still 1 second shy, but you have to take into consideration that these drivers are not using their own simulators at home, so they have to get used to it. They had, I believe, 15 minutes practice session before their official session started, so not a lot of time for them to get used to the simulators, the different hardware that they might use at home. But they will have to use what they have. Everyone has identical setups built with Conspit hardware, which is professional hardware, direct drive, hydraulic brakes, really nice for the participants to use. And now they are trying their best. In the qualifying session, Riekus is right behind a driver from Poland, Tomola. And I think that's a good qualifying lap time done for Riekus. Tomola makes a mistake, and yeah, that's definitely not the best lap for Riekus. He's currently third to start for the first race of this group. The second race of this group of this afternoon will see top 4 drivers of first race starting in a reversed order.
Yep, so still have a reverse grid. This time it will be half the grid getting reversed, and we do expect bigger pace differences. Obviously, the World qualifier was, or the Europe qualifier was much closer with a much bigger pool of drivers to set their laps. This one is a little bit more spread out, as you can see. And obviously, them being divided into 4 groups spreads it out even more. Juknevičius comes around the final corner. It's, again, just 2 laps to get your qualifying effort in, and a 20.7, and I don't think anybody is going to beat that in this session. Tomola across the line, and no improvement. An improvement from Rekus into, well, the low 21s. Nobody else has been able to get into the 20s. Will we see any other takers for the 221s coming across the line? No. So that is the qualifying session done. Juknevičius, Rekus, Tomola, Ruskas, Sabonis, Aukštuolis, Klevečka, your top 8 and top 7, and the 7 cars that will run in that second race. We'll see if anybody gets through turn 1 well, starting from second. It was much more difficult in the Ovoko quarterfinals. Obviously, more cars on track for those as well, so added difficulty there. But Tadas Juknevičius, unsurprisingly, I would say, on pole position for his group. And probably the biggest margin we've seen for pole in any of the races.
Oh, yep. A nice margin for Tadas Juknevičius. And, well, from this point of view, it seems that it's going to be an easy walk this afternoon for Tadas Juknevičius. He's definitely the favorite of this Topo Centras group in the Dream to Drive Championship. I think nobody has doubts that Tadas Juknevičius will advance to the finals. Though we have to make these races. We have to finish those well, starting from pole position, we've seen yesterday first place usually has no issues into the first corner. The second position yesterday had real difficulties after the race start, so Rekus should be cautious about that. Tomola will start from third. I think we'll see a battle behind Juknevičius first.
So getting ready to go. Lights come on. It's the first quarterfinal in the first race for the TOPO Centras side of the bracket. And we're green for the first time this afternoon. Down into turn 1 they go, and it's a much less hectic start than we saw in the other groups. Good start from Rekus and not that great of a start from Tomola. He wasn't able to challenge Rekus down into turn 1. And P2 comes out in P2 out of turn 1 side by side, though, here for 5th spot, Ruskas and Aukštuolis, and into Rouge, and they slot back into line. And wide from drivers, cutting the top of the Radion section as they go up the hill into Lake Home. And big battle here for second, though, as Tomola goes to the outside of Rekus. Ooh, a little bit of contact and into Lake Home. We saw many moves made around the outside, and if Tomola can stay on the track, no, he can. And I think he'll have to give that position up if he doesn't want a penalty further on in this race. He definitely cut the chicane, and he stayed in front for now. Stewards on site. So we'll see what decisions they can come up with here, but Tomola was definitely off track when he made that move. Falling back behind, see what the decision is, and now if he decides to stay in front, he'll have to try and pull out a big enough gap to not fall into the hands of cars further behind as well, like Rusgas in P4. Again, obviously much bigger pace differences, so maybe more of a possibility than the almost super speedway style racing we saw in the Ovoko group, where everybody was line astern. Pretty much the whole top 10 was together. Sometimes you'd see the leader going away, but that was pretty rare. So now drivers come through Blanchimont, well, into Blanchimont. It's just a tiny lift. I think it's flat in qualifying, might be flat in qualifying, as they come into the bus stop chicane first time in this race. And, well, the gaps have started to spread out.
Yep, and we are about to complete the first lap. Slightly smaller gaps here, starting from P3 to P7, though they seem to be extending, and I think that's what we should see in the first race. They are currently running basically the same order they qualified. Tomola has swapped places with Riekus, and now the pace of the drivers should be very similar to what they had in the qualifying session. If they avoid mistakes, that should be a comb walk to the finish line. Then the second race will see the top 4 drivers in a reversed order. I think Tomola just reduced the gap slightly to Juknavicius, as Sabonis and Rusgas are in a battle. Sabonis on the inside, Rusgas on the outside, and that's going to be the inside for Sabonis, and he takes P4. And
moves up a spot.
Yeah, but Rusgas and Aukštuolis. It's still a nice battle.
Has gone down the inside, and I think might get the move done. He does, and now Aukštuolis in with a shot here.
Oh, into Pohun. This is a very fast corner, almost unsettling the car of Sabonis. It's one downshift and then a pretty fast double left-hander. I'm pretty sure it's quite difficult to complete a move on the inside. It's definitely possible in these cars, but it's definitely also very difficult to complete. That's why Aukštuolis kind of backed out of it. Now he's very late on the brakes and overshoots the right-hander, which leads to the Blanchimont straight. A little bit of big steering input. Loading the front tires, introducing small understeer on the front, and Sabonis gets away at this moment from Aukštuolis. This battle for P4 and basically for the provisional pole position for race 2. 8 drivers will continue their journey to the semi-finals. Again, same as we had yesterday. It doesn't mean that you have to finish in top 2 places in your group. Points will be calculated, and you need to collect as many points as possible, not only focus on staying second in your group. Sometimes that might not be enough. And Sabonis and Aukštuolis still in a battle. Rusgas already in front, 1.5 seconds gap, and I think the races this afternoon will be very similar. Just a few cars on the virtual racetrack. 8 simulators though on the spot, all identical. Everyone has the same chance of performance. Cars are also using identical setups, so no difference, just the drivers.
Yep, the drivers have the biggest impact here. It's fixed setups as well, just like it was for the Iveco group, but placing the importance on the skills of the driver. Tomola has been able to generate a gap behind, so I think even if any kind of penalty comes his way, he'll stay at least third. And he was higher in the pre-qualifying than Tomola. I think, yeah, here you're really looking at those top 2 spots. You have to finish in the front 2 in your group to get your way through, unless something really crazy happens in the other groups. A win, well, that pretty much guarantees your way in. So drivers have to still get good results. I think here actually the win means a bit a win doesn't guarantee you to be into the next round as much as it did in the Iveco races.
Doesn't it? I mean, you get 50 points for a win.
Yeah, but you can be beat out if everything really falls into place. You can be beat out here. So because of less cars qualifying through. Pretty much you're guaranteed, yes, but there are some scenarios where you could be beat out of the top spot. So Have to be a bit more careful. If you get a decent enough points haul, like a fourth, like a third in race 2, you're fine. You're gonna go on to the semi-final, but because of less cars qualifying, you've got a bigger shot at losing out somehow. Because remember, in the Iveco group, you had cars, I think the last car that qualified in was with about 15 points. And that was in the 24th spot. If you look at the top 8 who qualified in the Iveco group, 8th spot was on 38 points. So you're getting dangerously close to that 50-point mark. 50 points would have landed you 7th in that Iveco group, so it's close. It's definitely closer. And obviously a smaller grid, so less of a chance to have a driver from the top go do a no score or a bad score in the next race, considering that the top 4 gets reversed instead of the top 8. Here's the difference, Tomola and Rekus. Rekus losing, then gaining a tiny bit back, and then losing time again, so...
Yep, Rekus, I think Rekus does have it in mind that Tomola overtook him with going off track, so he might know that Tomola might be facing some sort of a penalty, and I think he should try and at least make no mistakes. Looks like he's not able to show the same pace. Oh, Juknavicius 220.1, so Juknavicius is showing a very similar pace what we had yesterday in the Iveco group, where drivers participated all around Europe from the comfort of their homes. This time Juknavicius shows that you can do it on whatever simulator that you sit on. If you're a fast driver, the hardware has no influence. It just takes a little bit of time to adapt to how it reacts, to how the pedals work, what the force feedback is about. But Juknavicius is just demonstrating that he has.
I think it also shows that he was very, very careful in qualifying. I think he knew that he's in a very, very fast car here. I mean, that he's very, very fast. So I think maybe he took a little bit more care when driving the qualifying session to make sure he doesn't get a track limit penalty that invalidates his lap, to make sure he does get a lap in that's good enough for pole. And now that that kind of pressure is off his shoulders, because you can get a track limit penalty, here I think he's starting to push, and that's the big differentiator here. So a good strategy. Knowing your competition is sometimes even more important than knowing how to be fast on track, but he has both, it looks like. And yep, like we said, one of the favorites going into this one decided to go with the TOPO CENTRAS group. In terms of pace, I mean, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that this is the slower group, but that's normal. While this wasn't limited just to local drivers, it pretty much was, because you have to do it here in Lithuania. So you either have to travel here to do the pre-qualifying, or you have to live here and then travel those places to do the pre-qualifying. So obviously more weighted towards local drivers, and because of a smaller pool than when you look at all of Europe, it's obviously a bit of a slower group. So now it's just deciding to take on this one, maybe a little bit less pressure before he heads into the finals. It's one of the ones that we do expect to see in those finals.
Oh yeah, but I think he made the correct decision. We've seen yesterday, well, you can be fast, and we had fast drivers, but with those huge grids there was a lot of risk, and we had a driver who was very fast in the first group, but then things went out of hand, a couple of crashes, and that's it. This journey is already buried, and I mean, the prize is phenomenal. The drivers will get out of their simulators and jump into the real race car, same that they drive now, and participate in a real endurance race. So, I mean, you have to take and consider all the possible steps for you to try and win this one. And I think the decision that Tadas made is definitely clever. Why risk it if you have a chance here to, I mean, basically for a driver like Tadas, get a free ticket straight through to the finals?
Obviously, once we get to the semi-final, it will get a little bit more difficult and a little bit more tight. Those tiny mistakes will be punished more, but I think he would have been one of the favorites anyway in the Evoco part. So
Yep.
it doesn't change much. We would still expect to see him in at least the semi-final. Taking this route, I would be very, very surprised if he doesn't make it into the final.
Yeah, man, it's going to be 3 drivers into the final, so I don't see any issues for Tadas to just complete that. He can be calm, relaxed, he doesn't need to push his full pace, just that pace that will be enough to finish in top 3 in the semi-finals. And by winning this race, I think he'll guarantee himself the ticket to the semi-finals from these groups. He'll finish first, and then the least that he can finish in the second race is going to be 7th, and that's going to be 53 points. That would be hard to beat, though of course it's possible.
It's still mathematically possible.
Yes.
I would be very surprised if somebody did beat it. And well, actually, you'd have to have 3 cars in your heat to beat it. So it's a difficult task. It's still possible, and that's why, well, you know, I don't think he's aiming for a 7th spot finish in the second race. I think he's gonna still go for the win, and why wouldn't he? I mean, look at the gap he's generated. He's generated almost 5 seconds over Tomola. He's generated 8 seconds to Rekus, and I think over 10 to Rusgas. So
Yep.
been looking at the fastest lap times. I mean, it's 12 seconds to Rusgas, 8 seconds to Rekus. Tomola almost at 5 now, so he's definitely got the pace. He can just pick them off one by one, and I don't think guys like Tomola will want to fight him too much. Tomola has his goal set on qualifying in, so his goal should be P2, knowing the pace of Tadas, and if he can follow Tadas through, that might be the way to do it. Now, for Rekus, even if he thinks Tomola does get a penalty for the overtake off the track, his gap is at 3.5, so depending on the penalty that Tomola does get, or if he gets a penalty, he could get a 3-second penalty or a 2-second penalty, and that wouldn't be enough. But I think Rekus just wasn't able to keep up with the pace of Tomola, who made a mistake in his qualifying lap in the second lap. That's why he didn't improve, but I think clearly it shows that he's got the pace to do so. And your race leader, he's coming to the bus stop chicane, and would have been surprised to see anything different. Race 1 of quarterfinal 1, and it goes the way of Tadas Juknavicius, a dominant performance, 5 seconds in front, so he could have picked up a penalty somewhere along the way and still won. Tomola in P2, P3 for Rekus, and then it's Rusgas, Sabonis, Klevechka. Nothing really changed throughout the race. We expect something different in the other one, but once we got through, I think, the first 2 laps or so, the grid settled down, and we were in the same position with everybody.
Yep, so a small break now between the 2 races. A couple of minutes of stationary time. You can see what's happening right on the scene. Some drivers, maybe they are not happy with the hardware. They can ask for assistance to try and fix some things that they were not happy in race 1. and then they'll have the chance to maybe improve their positions in race 2. Now Rusgas is gonna be the driver who will start from pole. Rekus will start alongside him. Then it's Tomola, Juknevičius, and then we have Sabonis, Aukštuolis, and Klevečka starting in the same places that they have finished the first race. And I think it's going to be a very easy and quiet afternoon, even though I'm pretty sure all the drivers are excited and they are not as calm as it looks on the screens. Track is not full. We had 20 or so cars per group yesterday. We have smaller groups here this afternoon. We have a very exciting camera of what's happening on the site. And if there will be accidents, I will be eager to turn on the camera and look at what's happening after the races. It didn't seem a lot here in this first race. Now with the top 4 reversed, well, something might happen on the screens. Well, I hope at least the first 5 minutes will be a little bit more exciting what concerns the battles on the racetrack. I wonder if Juknevičius will be eager to jump straight on into a battle and try the best that he can do straight away after the start, or he'll just try and race calmly, wait out the perfect moments and go for the overtakes. Yeah. Organizers.
Oh, I actually don't see what's going on in the.
I've seen we had a driver which forgot to place the button that takes him on the racetrack, so the organizers rushed to help them out to not miss the race start.
Okay, so getting ready to go. It's race 2 of Group 1 here from Spa. And top 4 reversed of the finishing order from race 1. Let's see how this one ends up with the lights on and the lights off, and down to turn 1 we go. Juknevičius already moves to the inside into La Source, and can he pick up a few spots already? Tight on the exit, a little bit of contact and a little bit of door banging, but I think Juknevičius has managed to get up into second here, and he has, and everybody slots in behind. Rusgas now leads the race.
The question is for how long? I think that's not going to be long.
As Juknevičius goes to the outside, and the outside we saw is really the preferred line into La Source. We saw so many moves being made around the outside, and I think he's going to get it done even before the corner, but they go in 3 wide. There's a car on the inside. That's Tomola, who gets it up into second. Rekus gets up into third, and, well, that was quick. We're back to as we were. Rusgas now actually dropped down to 5th spot, but seeing his pace before, he might be able to get past Sabonis here.
I don't think so.
Trying to get past the Rekus now, but Rekus might be able to hold on. Interesting.
Oops.
How he dropped from the lead all the way down so quickly, and was very quick to get everybody back into the same positions we had for race 1.
Yep.
Was a bit, unfortunately, we lost a chance at that big battle that we were hoping for.
I mean, there was some sort of a battle. It was very quick. Still, cars swapped places. A little bit of drama into the Lecombe's corners, into the Lecombe chicane. Klevečka almost hitting the back end of Aukštuolis. And, well, here we go. The field starts to spread out by the end of the first lap. Juknevičius already almost 1 full second ahead of Tomola. It looks like the drivers will collect a lot of points. So Tomola, if he finishes second, he should have 60 points. Oh, Klevečka late on the brakes into the side of Aukštuolis and spins around. I wonder if that was an overtake or he just simply missed his braking spot, because the way he went to the inside was a little bit unexpected for himself. So maybe he just missed a braking point.
Could be. For Rekus, this would be, well, I guess depends on what happens with the race 1 result. Anyway, Tomala would be in front if he finishes second here. If he drops down a spot behind Rekus in the other race, he'd be in front because of a higher spot in the pre-qualifying, because that's the tiebreaker. That could mean both cars on 50 points. And that would make this group with a potential to have a very, very high point score in this event. Could see, this is where we could see 3 cars qualifying in from this group, and then having another group only have 1 car come through. So something to keep an eye out on.
Still, the drivers will be focused on the best performance for themselves. It's a little bit more calm on the racetrack. It's more like a practice session. You just kind of go into the rhythm and try to make the best out of it. And Rikos has a very similar pace to Tomala, but it looks like it's just not enough, and that just indicates that Tomala made a mistake in the qualifying session, which did not allow him to qualify higher than Riekos, but, well, during the races he just made what he needed to do, and he's again in front of...
just past Sabonis. I saw Sabonis going slowly, so I think he went wide there on the exit. We saw a few cars go into the gravel there yesterday, and that really slows you down, so we're back to as we were, exactly as we were at the checkered flag of race 1.
Sabonis sideways.
Big slide there through the bus stop chicane. He's now got Spot is quite close to him. And another fastest lap of the race from Tadis Gamchus.
So, no drama here. I don't expect any drama here. So, some battles for the final spots. That's Aukštuolis right behind Sabonis. Oh, that looked like off tracks. I'm not sure how the system calculates the off-track limits. Looks like it doesn't punish you if you cut the chicane this much. And now Aukštuolis is on a move into the Lecombs. And Sabonis is very careful here and looks to be cooperative, though he tries to go back into the inside line and take that spot back. He's now down to P6, so we have a change in the order that we had in the first race. The fastest lap time of Sabonis was 2:21.8. The fastest lap time from Aukštuolis was 2:22.1. And now Aukštuolis finds himself in front of Sabonis. I think there will be another battle building up and a little bit of excitement for us to look at. I mean, 7 cars on the racetrack have slightly bigger differentiation in pace. Doesn't create a lot of race drama. Aukštuolis runs wide. That's where you get trapped into that gravel, and we have a contact on the racetrack. Sabonis was a little bit too eager to go to the inside of the corner. He has seen Aukštuolis struggle on pace after he returned to the racetrack from that gravel pit. And that's a scenario or a situation, a contact for the referee to look at. Time to stop drinking that coffee for our referee that is currently on site and have a look at the situation. I'm not sure there will be any penalties or they will matter at all. I think it was just a racing incident, didn't end up with any driver going off the racetrack. Just one driver a little bit too eager on the brakes, found no space there on the racetrack, made a contact. No damage to the cars. Well, there is damage on the cars, but it's the contact was not too dramatic to cause something bad for the virtual race cars. Reku's still within 1 second of Tomola. Let's try and see the pace of the drivers. It is also very similar. Reku's was just a tiny bit faster on the last lap.
Now just building a gap at the front once again. He's secure up at the front of the field. Could be our first 100 out of the quarterfinals. We didn't have one in the Avoko groups. The highest point score we had was a 70. So this could be our first 100, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more today as well. The next groups, some of them look stronger, more competitive, or at least potentially more competitive. We'll see how those go. It's the top 8 that will go through on into the semi-final compared to the top 24 that did in the Avoko group. TOPO Centras group obviously smaller because it is on site. So 8 simulators on site is already a huge task for the organizers. 24 would be pretty much impossible. Or at least very, very difficult. So 8 it will be, and that's why 8 qualify into the semi-final, so that everybody who tries to qualify to the final is in the same race, so they're not running just separate races and never meet. They all are running in the same exact race and battling each other for a chance at the final. Another fastest lap by your race leader, a 20.477. So he's just having fun, setting fastest laps for fun, and he leads the pack by 3.5 seconds. So we'll see if he can get up to the same gap that he had in the first race. Definitely closer for second place. Rekus and Tomola only separated by 1.5 right now. They finished at over 3 seconds in that last race.
Sabonis still behind Aukštuolis. Sabonis has the pace to try and get back to the position that he was at. I don't think that's gonna change anything. Only 8 drivers will advance to the semi-finals, and well, double finishing 2 times in 5th, I don't think gives you a lot of chances to go further into the next session. So I'm not sure how much motivated Sabonis can be, but I don't know. I'd try that, especially if having pace. Trying to look in the lap time comparison. Yep, on laps 2 and laps 3, that's where Sabonis made those mistakes and he lost time. No drama for Juknavicius in the lead, looking for a double P1 finish. And then he'll wait how the next groups will finish their races. I think Juknavicius is one of the favorites. I'm wondering how the other groups will look like.
Well, we'll have to see. New names in there as well, so we'll have to see how they do. Next group of the names I do recognize from other World Sim Series races: Simas Viršickas, Linus Butvila, Justas Pirinauskas. So a few of those I do know.
Hopefully they will
They
create a
aren't
little
actually
bit
in
more
that-
drama on the racetrack.
They aren't actually in that order for where they pre-qualified, so there still could be some changes. Kaius Mutkavičius, he was he was sixth in the pre-qualifying, and he's second in Group 2. We'll see how he does.
And
This group, obviously, even with the names that we had, it was pretty clear who was going to win. I was expecting more of a battle for the second spot. That's not happening right now. Tomola here out on track. He's finally starting to build that gap, and I don't think he'll go over 3 seconds this time. But that should secure his qualifying into the semi-finals. The finals will be done in 2 stages. One will be the real racing stage, where the drivers will run in real cars and karts on track. And then it will be the sim racing stage. That will be the final decider of who goes into the Porsche Cup car real life and runs the race. Tadas Juknavičius, another fastest lap of the race, so he's really just having fun, trying to improve his lap times. Getting used to the rig as well, I'm sure, because, well, the semi-final will definitely be closer than this. So he has to get into the groove.
Yep, and the semi-finals will take place 1 week from today, so the next Sunday. Not too far into the distance, and the semi-finals will use another platform. It's not going to be the AC platform, it's going to be the ACC platform. I think that's good news for Juknavičius. He's known as one of the fastest drivers of ACC in Lithuania. I think he can be very relaxed about it. Just basically focus on what's going to happen with the real tests. After the semi-finals will be completed, I don't see what could happen, what could go wrong for Tadas Juknavičius to not be amongst the top 3 finishers of the TOPO Centras group. And I think he's already studying who the drivers in the Ovoko category are. We've seen phenomenal performance yesterday from a lot of the drivers, and that's gonna be his biggest competition.
And yep, the biggest competition. But again, he can't be completely relaxed, because you know, even for example, Luke Whitehead, who ran yesterday, I think he was in Group 3. Or 4, I don't
3.
remember.
We had 3
Oh,
groups.
yeah,
Yesterday he was third. Yep.
Yep. So, well, he had a dominant performance in race 1, but then was involved in contact in race 2. So, still have to keep that in mind, as Tadas Juknavičius will come around the final corner. He's built his gap to almost 6 seconds now, and it's a double for him. The first double we've seen in Dream to Drive this year. Tadas Juknavičius in a 19.999, and finally gets into the 19s. He wanted that this whole race. Tomola in second, third for Rekus, and fourth will go to Rusgas, then it's Aukštuonis, Sabonis, and Klevechka. So the only change in position coming between Aukštuonis and Sabonis. They actually switched spots, so both come out of today with 16 points. So obviously still a question mark over that P2, but for now it's Juknavičius, Tomola, Rusgas, Rekus, your top 4. And sorry, it's Juknavičius, Tomola, Rekus, Rusgas, your top 4. 100 points for Juknavičius, 60 for Tomola, 40 for Rekus, and 30 for Rusgas. Those are your results. at least provisionally for now. And I think we might have an interview with our double race winner. And probably the biggest question is, why did we not see a 19 in qualifying when we saw a 19 in the race? That's my first question for that.
So new rig, new experience, so it was difficult for me to adapt to new pedals, new wheelbase as well, because it's a lot different from what I have at home. And yeah, in qualifying, I just lacked consistency. And in those two races, I just gathered up my mistakes and made my personal best in the last lap.
Well, that was nice to see. A 19.999. The first driver to get 100. Were you expecting to get into the lead so quickly? I mean, we were hoping maybe for a bit more of a battle, but you made it to the front in about 5 corners. Were you looking for that at the start? Did you take an extra risk to know that to be in the front, or is that just how it ended up?
Well, after the first race, I just knew I had to keep it clean in the second race. So I just thought where I need to place my car in the turn one with cold tires. And I was lucky in the first place. So I got the apex, and then yeah, I just was corner after corner, just catching to the leaders. And yeah,
Okay, well, thank you, Tadas. Another impressive performance, and that's kind of what we expected. And now I guess you're off to prepare for the semifinals, which you're guaranteed to be in now. So good luck to you, and thank you for the show you put on here today.
thank you.
Group 2 coming up soon, and Group 2 will have, we've got 7 drivers again, right? I think so.
I think we have 6 drivers. I think let's make a short break and we'll be back with all the action from the racetrack with the second Topo Centras group.
Compete in the real race, prove everything on the track, and continue to pursue the everlasting racing glory as your routine. A single clack of your wheel. The passion is engaged. All you have to do is to commit, to feel the grip in your hand, to perform every precise entry, to deliver the perfect friction circle, and to master the art of driving. You may ask, where's my race crew? And I would say, leave it to Khan's pit. Ares, the wheelbase that was built to master the competitive sim racing scene. With its powerful skew pole motor and high-precision optical encoder, Ares delivers an unparalleled driving experience with highly detailed force feedback. 290 GP, deemed to become the true next generation. It breaks the planar constraints through a unique 3D ergonomic design and redefines everything about the Formula steering wheel, featuring a full carbon fiber front housing, ensuring a light yet ultra-rigid experience. The MagFlip rocker-type paddles achieve the same functionality as Formula One setups. The CDP system will push your performance to the next level. Focus and execute the agile maneuver, all within just a blink of an eye. With this zealous combination of Ares and 290 GP, the roar of the road thrills both your hands and soul.
Welcome back to the TOPO Centras group of the Dream to Drive quarterfinals, as the second group is preparing themselves for the race. They are currently on the outlap on the racetrack for their qualifying runs. As usual, 6 minutes for the qualifying session, so an outlap and 2 flying laps. We have 6 drivers in this group that are currently taking place. I see them now exiting this bus stop chicane as they prepare themselves for the flying laps. And these groups, they are going to be a little bit more interesting for us now. If Tadas Juknevičius was, well, let's say the favorite driver of the first group and the overall group of the TOPO Centras part of the Dream to Drive Championship, I just hope that this one will create a little bit more drama on the screens, as you already look at Simas Veršickas, who is the first car on the racetrack that will set a valid lap time. Then we have Butkevičius, Matvejevas, Butvila, Rinkevičius, and Pernauskas.
Does Butvila have damage on the front?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Quite a lot of damage, actually. So he's been in something.
I think on the exit from the pit lane, it's quite tight on the exit, and the drivers, I think they were a little bit too hot-headed when they were exiting the pit lane. There you go.
I'm interested in that he didn't. Well, if it was on the exit of the pit lane, that he didn't go back into the pit. Yeah, he's got a lot of damage, and the whole left side is destroyed. So could it be on the exit of the pits? I'm interested that he didn't go back in. Reset back into the pits, because there is time. They've got about from the last car crossing, actually, in the Ivoko group, so 20 almost cars, there were about 40 seconds still in hand, so he could have still tried to do something. Interesting that he made this decision. We'll see how much that affects his lap times as he comes out of the pit path.
Can it be stress related? Maybe the drivers not taking the same decisions that they would take at home.
I think it's a very sim racer thing to, if you have any damage in qualifying, you reset. That's the natural thing you want to do immediately. And sometimes in championships on other platforms where you can't reset, for example, back to the pits, it might just be sometimes that people reset without thinking and then mess up. So 21-0, that would have been good enough for the front row. For the other group, Pernauskas into 22-1, 23-4 for Matvejevas. Butvila, well, maybe that damage not affecting him that much, but still a second off pole for now. Let's see who else does a lap. I think we saw another few cars cross the line. Both of these cars did not set a lap, a valid
limits.
lap.
Yep, that's track limits. Wow. It's really difficult. Now you can see the pressure on the shoulders of the drivers. They make mistakes even in the qualifying session. We do have only 6 cars here. Qualifying is not too important, I would say. Still, you would like to set a valid lap time, any valid lap time, to place you on the grid. So Butkevičius and Rinkevičius, they still have at least one chance. Now Matvejevas sits behind Butkevičius on his second flying lap. His first was not impressive, still good enough for P4, but I think Matvejevas is running into the back end of Butkevičius, and that might be qualifying lap a little bit distracted. Butvila sits nicely in the back, that's why he's second. He still has some space on the track for an improvement. Pernauskas sits second behind Veršickas on the track. Track position. He's currently third, so Veršickas, Butvila, Pernauskas, Butkevičius, they definitely have room for improvement. What about Matvejevas? Well, he can reduced the slipstream slightly from Butkevich's. So maybe that's also not too bad, but looking at the gap on the racetrack, I think Vershitskas will set a lap time which will give us another dominant driver in his group. Look at the gap that he has on the track, runs wide. What about the track limits? Was that too wide? Does Assetto Corsa abuse you for running that wide? Looks like it does. Well, 21.1 was his second lap time. It was valid, so it does not punish you. Butvila down to third. Pirnauskas comes quite close with the lap time to Vershitskas. Matvievas improves, but stays fourth. And Rinkevičius, again, no valid lap time for Rinkevičius, or was it? No, it was actually a valid lap time. Let's look at the results. I hope you can read those. If you can't, we have time to go through the results. So Vershitskas takes pole position with 2 minutes 21.0. Pirnauskas seconds with a lap time of 2:21.1, so 1/10 separating P1 and P2. Butvila came home third with his first lap being the faster one, 2:22.0. Matvievas fourth, 2:22.3. Butkevichus 2:22.6, and Rinkevičius 2:23.3. 6 cars on the racetrack. It's going to be another lonely race, I assume, but we expect battles at the front.
We've got a good battle here at the front, and I think with Butvila, with all of that damage that he had to his car, I'm sure that he can do a lap time better than a 22.0. So this has potential to be a generational fight for the win, or it could be the most boring race because all of them can crash out of turn 1.
Oh,
that's also possible.
Oh, yep. Nice scenario to create a mega crash into turn 1 and no cars stay on the racetrack. What would we do for 15 minutes?
I know. Have
a restart.
Have a drink.
A red flag situation with 6 cars on the racetrack.
Would be a funny situation, but everything can happen. Turn 1 at Spa has given us quite a lot of action throughout the years. Let's hope for a clean one this time. Here we go. Lights come on. It's Group 2, Race 1. Underway at Spa, Dream to Drive 2026, with our partners TOPO Centras hosting this group. As they go down into turn 1, Butvila trying to fight with Pirnauskas, who went to the inside early, so he saw what happened in the other races. And, oh, is that actually side by side for the lead between Butvila and Vershitskas?
Yep, it was.
And I think Butvila had to back out of it. He's still going to have the slipstream, but he's now boxed in by Pirnauskas. So, he's flying across the track. He was boxed in by Pirnauskas because now Butkevichus is coming up to try and make it 3 wide down into the braking zone for last stores. And there's no way you're making the corner from there, buddy. And he cuts all across Likoma, and he'll have to give all of these spots up. He hasn't given the spot up to Pirnauskas, who goes to the inside. Will the car ahead lift? It doesn't. And while we had questions about that last race where Tomola went a little bit wide, and now he gives the place back up. So a smart move, because if Tomola was a little bit wide, Butkevichus cut the corner with no regard for anything. Now, Butvila, he's looking good in second. Definitely net damage had a bigger effect on him than probably he wanted in qualifying. And now he's trying to hunt down the race leader, Simas Vershitskas. Remember, it's the top 8 overall, so even if you finish second here, you might be thrown out by a better result somewhere else. So keep that in mind when you watch these cars go around the track. Pirnauskas, he's in front of Butkevichus, only 4/10 in front. He's got a second to the car ahead, so after starting second, so close to pole position as well. It's another time that P2 has lost out on lap 1.
Yep, but it looks like it's gonna be a slightly more exciting race. What cheers me up a little bit, Pirinauskas chasing down Butkevičius right on the tail of Pirinauskas. So 3 cars battling for that very important second position. Vershitskas is slowly creating a gap out in front, but that still does not mean he can be calm and relaxed. Smallest, tiniest mistake might change the order on the racetrack, and points matter a lot here. Of course, you aim for a win, then you can relax a little bit for race 2. Looking at the points of race 1, so Juknevičius with 100 points, Tomala with 60 points, Riekus has 40 points. Finishing second and third would give you 50 points.
Yep,
math.
50 points it's either going to be 60 or 50 for Tomala in that last row. Wide from Butkevičius, and he gives up any opportunity here to make the move. And now Pirinauskas looking quicker than Butvila. Let's see how much can he catch up. One of more. No name or speaker's corner as they go into Kuon for the second time in this race.
Really nice to see these gaps. Even Rinkevičius, who didn't seem very confident and fast in the qualifying session, he's within 1 second from Butkevičius and from this 3-car group, though he just went wide and made a mistake. Matveev was last in P6, already more than 2 seconds behind Rinkevičius. So some drivers struggling with pace straight on in the first race. Top 4 will start in a reversed order. So now Butkevičius is looking at the perfect spot to start race 2. Finishing 4th gives you how many points? Let me check.
15.
Yep, 15 points for P4 finish. Was that Pirinauskas ran wide into the bus stop chicane? It was. Yep.
Lost quite a bit of time. He's been reeled back in, and he's lost touch with Butvila in front. If he finishes here, he would be starting second again for the next race, and Butvila would be starting third again. So I don't think he wants that. P2 is really the worst spot you can start on this track.
I mean, definitely yesterday, out of how many races did we have? 6 races. So I think at least 4 of them, the driver who started second had issues straight away when they approached turn 1.
And, you know, really, it's it didn't look that bad for P4 even. So some a lot of the time side by side into turn 1 with the leader, but it always felt like P2 didn't even get away with the leader. It was more like they were side by side with P3 and P4 all the time. So that P2 something, maybe there's some oil spilt there or something, because yeah, P2 has been a real struggle for more than half of the races. And even if it's just a single position that you lose, it's still a big loss. Not so much in the Ovoko races, because the points, because the grid is larger, more drivers go into the semi-final. It's a little bit easier, let's call it. But and it doesn't matter as much if you finish second or third. If you finish third there in those races, you were already pretty much guaranteed to go in to the semi-final. Here, third is not going to cut it, so we'll have to see what happens. Now, if there is a position swap for the next race and we finished like this, Butvila was higher than Pirinauskas in the pre-qualifying sessions, so he's the he would be the winner on the tiebreak here. But actually, both of them were behind Rekus and Tomola, so if there is a penalty there that switches those two to 50 points, we might have a four-way tie then for on that 50-point mark. So we'll see what happens. Still early days. We still have to see them finish with swap positions in the next race. And this one's not done yet either, even though Butvila is pulling out a gap. Now that gap up to 2 seconds. The gap for the lead is at 1.5. So
Yep, and Butvila was faster on the last lap. He was faster by 0.3. So he's just there. It's not over yet. This is race 1, and pace is very similar. It's not going to be very easy for Vershitskas to try and win the second race with drivers on a slightly more similar pace around him. You'll have to make those moves. You have to make clean moves. I think it's going to be a more interesting group for race 2 here. Was an interesting first lap. Now that the cars spread out, and I think everyone is already in the rhythm. Tires are hot. I just try to make no mistakes. Butkevičius made a mistake. He's now 2 seconds behind Pirinauskas. Rinkevičius looks to be getting closer on Butkevičius. So it just proves that not everybody is getting comfortable with the simulators that they're running at, because the qualifying session was a little bit different. Well, different. Rinkevičius was last with a quite slow time. Now during the race, he's 5th, and he is showing slightly better performance than he had in that qualifying run. There you go. He's trying to catch up with Butkevičius. And keeping that pace here, all you have to do now, just stay in the rhythm, make no mistakes, and keep that pressure up on the driver ahead. As soon as the driver ahead sees the gap going down, there is more chance of that driver making mistakes. So I think that's the main goal now for the drivers that are trying to chase down their rivals. Now Vershitskas sets a slightly faster lap time than Butvila does, 2 minutes 20.9. That's the fastest lap time of this group. Butvila set his own personal fastest lap time, which was again 2 minutes 21.3. So Butvila is in that rhythm. Vershitskas just found a slightly better pace, and he just ran a faster lap time than he did in the qualifying session. So everyone is slowly getting into the groove as we start the final third part of this first race of the second group. 4 groups in total. I think there will be 7 drivers in the third group and again 6 drivers in the fourth group. So not everyone took their spot. We had to have 8 drivers in each group, but I think live happens, and live did happen for 6 drivers in total this afternoon, where they did not have a chance to take part, where they owned the seat by participating in the pre-qualifying session of the TOPO Centras group in the Dream to Drive. Oh, that's Rinkevičius running sideways, and he was already quite close to Butkevičius. Good for him, he did not make a full spin, just a huge slide, caught the 992 car, which is very difficult actually to control this rear-engined race car. And as soon as he made a mistake, he continues to keep doing those in the coming corners. When you have a slide like this, you heat up the rear tires a little bit too much. Then you have to be careful through the coming corners just to cool those tires down a little bit. Matveyevas, well, he's just sitting tight 6th. And even though cars in front of him are making mistakes, it looks like he's not able to find the pace.
No, it doesn't look like he's had the pace all race here. So pole position for the next one should go to Butkevičius, sitting in 4th. And, well, clearly Butvila is quick enough for second. Still Vershitskas setting a new fastest lap of the race into the 20s, so quicker than he was in qualifying. Same situation that we had with Juknavicius in the other race that he was quicker than he was in qualifying. But remember, Juknavicius, although it was in the second race, he set a 2:19.9. This is a 2:20.7. So that's the difference between the leaders in Group 1 and Group 2.
Yep, Tadas Juknavicius looking at this group. I think he can be calm.
Well, I think he's gone home.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. You can.
Because I don't think he's at any. I don't think he's under any steward's review because there was nobody for him to hit or to be hit by because he was so far up in the lead. Similar situation to what Vershitskas has, even though Butvila is closer. Vershitskas hasn't really fought anybody. He went into the lead. He was side by side with Butvila coming up into Eau Rouge, but he held his ground. He put his foot down, and he's kept the lead ever since. So a similar, very strong performance. And actually, in the Ovoko groups, I don't remember if we ever had one of the drivers who was top in pre-qualifying actually be top in the races. No, we didn't. So actually none of the drivers who had pre-qualified in those top 3 spots, the highest spots, even won a single race. So that's quite a big surprise that now we should have, unless something crazy happens, we should have at least 2 drivers now who were top in pre-qualifying, winning at least 1 race. We'll see what happens in race 2. But Simas Vershitskas should do enough to win this race, and that almost guarantees him a shot at the semi-final.
Yep, and Simas is starting his final lap of the first race. Looking for a healthy amount of points, which should be 50.
Yep, it would be a 50-point haul, and second place only gets 30, so it's a very, very big incentive for you to win the race. And if winning is not enough of an incentive already, an even bigger one is that you get a very, very good haul of points. And that's a newer point system on World Sim Series, a bigger reward for the top drivers, and we've seen drivers really battle it out for the wins. Obviously here in the semifinals, I think everybody's just a tiny bit more cautious. Once we get to, here in the quarterfinals, they're more cautious. Once we get to the semifinals where it's only 3 who qualify out, it will be chaos everywhere. I'm sure of it.
Let's wait for the second race.
The point will reset for the semifinals. So whatever points haul you come in to the semifinals with, it doesn't matter. It only matters that you qualify through. And then for the semifinals, it's a whole new slate of points. So you'll see drivers battling it out from scratch. That's a smart thing to have, because some drivers who were maybe taken out in the second race of the quarterfinals, they might be at a very, very big disadvantage because they, couldn't really control that, while the other group may have been more clean. And if you're 50 points behind, for example, you're going to have a very, very hard time to do anything in the semi-final, because it's, again, only 3 drivers who qualify through. And into the bus stop chicane, it's another winner from pole position and another winner who won their group in pre-qualifying. Simas Vershitskas, a winner of race 1 ahead of Daniel Butvila. Then it's Justas Nauskas, then Rinkavicius, and Matveo, maybe not, because Rinkavicius spins. Did he spin completely? Will he stay ahead of Matveevas? I think he might just about. It's almost a drag race to the line, and just about kept his position. P5 or P6 doesn't make that huge of a difference. It's not a position that you would normally make into the semifinal, but still, wow, a lot of risk in here, and a bit of extra drama while we were already almost falling asleep towards the end of the race.
Yep, some drag race to the finish line. Still, Rinkevičius managed to hold on to P5 only by 2.5 tenths against Matveyevas. As Gustav said, it would have not changed a lot, still a couple of points difference, so you want to gather as many points as possible, and you never know. We will have the top 4 drivers start the second race in a reversed order. That means we might have drama into turn 1 or the Lecombe chicane. And you want to have as many points from race 1 as possible in case something happens. Pace was pretty...
Well, we saw what sometimes happens is that the leader just runs away, like what happened with Jukanovic when he started behind. He just overtook everybody in the space of a couple of corners and said thank you very much and ran away. So that could be what happens here, or we could be treated to great battle, because definitely the field is closer in this one. So here we go, getting ready with the lights on. It's Group 2, Race 2, TOPO Centras Dream to Drive 2026.
Ooh.
And we've got the safety car on our screens. Oh, and there was a crash.
Someone
Definitely
into the
was a
wall.
crash. And was that Butvila who went in? Yep, so more damage for him.
Oh my god.
If qualifying wasn't enough, but I think I saw somebody had a jump start.
Yep, it was.
Off the road. Who had a jump start?
Oh,
Butvila,
it was
drive-through jump start. So that is terrible for his situation, because a drive-through penalty is going to push him to last and even more.
Matveyevas also has drive-through. So 2 drivers have drive-through penalties. Matveyevas was the first driver to receive a drive-through. Butvila was the second one, and Butvila actually had a crash into the wall after the start went live. I think he had a wrongly positioned steering wheel, which is the best news for Vershitskas. Rinkevičius off the racetrack again. What drama do we have here? Oh, and we'll have a crash. You don't have a crash. Oh my word, what's happening here? Why do we have such drama? Butkevicius runs white. I mean, yep, I'm speechless.
Vershitskas should know that there's a penalty in front. Same with Pirinauskas, so he doesn't really need to do anything crazy. And Butvila, I think he's probably frustrated now. And he's getting overtaken, and I don't think he's going to fight any of them now, because, well, he knows he's got a penalty, and he knows any shot of going up to the semi-final is pretty much out of his hands now. Although still fights Pirinauskas down into the pith path. I don't know why. I mean, you're losing race time here, because you're not going to be fighting Pirinauskas here. You're going to be fighting Rinkevičius and Matveyevas best case if you can get into the pits quickly and rejoin. I mean, yeah, that drive-through is going to cost some time. I think he's still got an opportunity at getting into the top 4 with 40 points. Actually, 45. He'd be there or thereabouts. He might have a chance. So Butvila really needs. I think he'll have to come in now. I would, if I was him. Just get out into free air and try to catch those other cars.
Oh no, he stays on the racetrack.
Stays out.
He wants to race. He wants to race. He wants to have battles on the racetrack. He doesn't need to, though. But every driver...
if I was him, I'd pit right now. Because his battle is right behind. Matveyeva stays out. For him, it makes absolutely no sense to stay out. For Butvila, I mean, you normally wait a long time, as long as possible, to make your drive-through penalty in a grid of 20 cars or 30 cars or 40 cars, because you've got a lot of traffic that you would rejoin into. If you pit it now, you rejoin into no traffic. So, yeah, it's a strange decision. I don't really see the point of him fighting Pirinauskas here, because you know, once you do your drive-through penalty, you're so far away. So Here's Vershitskas, winner of race 1. He's getting close to Butkevich's, but doesn't need to take too much risk here. Again, he's got a good haul of points from race 1, so all he has to do is get an overtake done somewhere without too much risk, overtake, and get in front, and then lead away. So, but Butkevich is putting up a decent performance here. And I think that might be a bit of an issue for Butvila as well.
Now Vershitskas tries to go into the lead of the race. If he'll manage to win the second race of his group, he'll also end up with 100 points and guaranteed semi-finals ticket. Now Tomala should also be quite happy with double second finish. I think he'll also be through now with this shuffle of the cars. He might be calm that no equal. I mean, yeah, so if Butvila finished second, now he'll finish 5th, the best in this race.
He's got a chance at 4th.
Does he?
Yeah, because Matveyevas has a drive-through as well. Butvila comes in now. Matveyevas has a drive-through. So Rinkevichus will now go up to 4th. If he puts in the stint of his lifetime, he might be able to find the way back up into 4th. I think he'd also need a couple of mistakes from Rinkevichus. That would be a 4th spot finish if he could get in front. And Matveyevas does his drive-through penalty now. Butvila rejoins. So how far back will he be? Let's look probably a sector or so to see his actual gap.
And we have a battle for the lead.
7 seconds. So 6.5. Here we go. This is Vershitskas for the lead. He goes to the inside. Whoa, late cut off there from Butkevichus, who's trying to hold on to the lead. It's a sprint race, so he has every right to do that. Has every chance of still winning if he holds on. For Vershitskas, really doesn't need to do much. I think it's more a question for Pirinauskas, who wants to move forward. Yep, so Butvila is now under 6 behind from Rinkevichus, so he's got a shot at 4th spot. A really good shot if he goes fast, and that's why I said hit early. Don't get involved in these battles where all you do is slow yourself down. There we go, into 5th path. Pirinauskas showing his nose, Vershitskas not budging. Obviously, Butkevichus was quick in race 1. But not quick enough to hang with these guys, or at least not quick enough to move forward, but he did hang with them. He was in that sort of top 4 group of cars. That's going to be wide. It is a little bit wide from Pirinauskas. It's a good run through for Vershitskas, who's got a chance now at making a move into the bus stop chicane. He's on the back, coming in to Blanchimont. Is he on the inside into Blanchimont? Almost was, as Butkevichus defends into Blanchimont. That really ruined his exit. Oh, here comes Pirinauskas. Good morning, as he tries to go to the outside. Butkevichus can't make the corner, not even close. Oh! Oh, no, there was contact. A lot of contact with Pirinauskas, who I think cut the chicane as well. I don't think he made the corner either, as now Pirinauskas is up into the lead, ahead of Vershitskas and ahead of Butkevichus. Question mark for me, big question mark over what happened with Pirinauskas and Butkevichus there.
Oh yeah, the referees, the steward will have some work to do now. He'll look at the incident, and it was definitely a chaos on the racetrack, starting with Pirinauskas' phenomenal attempt of an overtake. Then Butkevichus outbraked himself. I'm not sure how strongly involved Vershitskas was in that situation. Did he had any contacts, or was it all clean around him?
Pirinauskas definitely had contact. You can see his left-hand side is damaged. I don't think Vershitskas has had any contact. So I know his car looks clean to me. I think he just braked early and tried to avoid everything. No, maybe he has a bit of contact on the front. So, I don't know.
Let's leave it for the stewards to work their job. And look at Butwell, you were right. He actually has a chance now to battle for P3, and that would not be too bad.
No, that would be, especially with a question mark hanging over the head of both Veršickas and Pirinauskas, this could be a very, very good result for him, or at least a result enough to have him qualify into the semi-final. That's why you don't ever give up. And we'll see where he ends up at, but let's hope or at least let's hope for him that he's not going to have to kick himself for trying to fight Pirinauskas before and not going into the pits early. So, still more than 5.5 minutes to go in this race. And Pirinauskas leads this one for now.
And looks like he has pace now. When he's up into the lead, he actually opened up the gap on Veršickas slightly.
Yep, he definitely did. So Pirinauskas now fastest lap of the race as well.
Now this shuffle of positions in a group is worse news for the groups that, well, what we had in the first group. So Tomola had 2 second-place finishes. But if this group finishes like this, where you have 2 different winners, they automatically collect more points than Tomola did. Pirinauskas finished...
I think if Tomola has a 60, then he should be fine to qualify in.
I mean, I'm not sure about it now. Look, Pirinauskas finished 3rd, and if he finishes 1st, that's 70 points, right, in total?
Yep, it would be a 70 point and then 80 for Veršickas, but then the driver who's in 3rd doesn't get as many points. So if you're at a 60, you're fine. You'll be okay. You'll still qualify through, because, I mean, then you'll see two qualify in from this group. I don't think we'd have a 3rd from this group.
Okay.
So with a 60, with a 2nd and 2nd, you're safe. That's fine. That's nothing to worry about. It's more if you have a 50, then that's a bigger question for you.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, the maths, I had to hold on for a brief moment of time, but let's get back on the racetrack. Butvela, Rinkevičius, and Butkevičius. That's going to be a battle with 2 laps to go when the drivers will cross the line. So 2.5 laps for Dainius Butvela to try and make a change for his overall result. That would give him a 50 points mark, which still might be that questionable amount of points. But he would have hope, at least, if he would manage to finish 3rd.
Oh, the inside. Big move. And now Veršickas' fastest lap of the race, but Butvela really confident on the brakes. He definitely has the pace. He's got 2 laps to go. Here he goes to the inside of Rinkevičius, and, well, not a surprise, easy as is. He'll be under pressure into La Source, but I don't know if Rinkevičius will really try to fight him too much. At least what we, into Les Combes, at least what we saw into La Source. He didn't want to fight him too much. So I think, yeah, he'll stay behind and Butvela try to catch up to Butkevičius in front. 1.5 seconds is that gap. 2 laps to go, including this one. Ooh! Oh no! Oh no! Well, Rinkevičius just tried going down the inside. Desperate move there, and he was never making that corner. So,
I mean, he tried. And he's still stuck in the middle of the racetrack, and Jokūbas Matvejevas is somewhere around the corner finally Rinkevičius found the correct gear to move that car forward. What a penultimate lap we have here.
Yep, a lot of stress for the drivers right now.
It's the moment for Butvila. He needs to make that move. He needs to definitely make that move. Okay, we had that situation with Perinauskas and Butkevičius. One of the drivers might have a penalty. We are not sure about it. And you want to make as many places on the track as possible. Now Butvila losing out a little bit in this section of the racetrack as Vershitskas makes a small move on Perinauskas. The gap is already a little bit less than 1 second, and with one full lap to go, 7 kilometers in total, 20 corners on the racetrack, plenty of opportunities for Vershitskas to still make that 50-50 finish in his
I
group.
think he's going to stay behind. I don't think he's going to take any risk here. There's no point for him to take any risk here either. I think he just needs to stay calm, not lose too much time to the cars behind.
Okay, interesting information about that bus stop chicane. It seems that it was Vershitskas who is the one to blame and the one who might be facing a penalty, which makes the game a little bit more interesting here for the groups.
Yep, that's why he shouldn't overtake. That's why he should just stay behind and try to increase the gap to the cars behind. Because if it's a 5-second penalty, it's fine. If it's a 10-second, he needs to just increase that gap just that little bit more to guarantee his way in. In any case, a second, let's say from Butvila, we'd have to really go into the calculations, but Vershitskas will not drop further than 4th. I don't see that happen. I don't think he's going to get half a minute of penalty. So he should be still safely through. And here comes Butvila. So he wants to get forward. He needs to get forward if he wants to have any more opportunity at appearing again in Dream to Drive 2026 in the TOPO Centras groups. And if he wants a chance at that semi-final, it's all going to be decided at the bus stop chicane. We already saw drama there once, wide from Butvila. And maybe he's putting more pressure on himself than he had. Then he is putting pressure on the car ahead, and he's, I think, just that little bit too far away. If I was him, I'd just dive bomb into the final chicane because there's nothing to lose here, really. It's yep, all about that. And Vershitskas is super close, but I think he's gonna stay behind. And looks like he is. Oh no! Sideways from Perinauskas, who is going to be side by side down to the line. It's going to be a photo finish, and Vershitskas takes the win. It's a double for him, but there was a bit of a question mark on what happened at the bus stop. Butvila can't get through. It's not enough for him, and I think that's his shot at the semi-final gone, but obviously other groups still coming through. Is it raining? Why are the wipers on? But Rinkevičius has got the wipers on. Okay, interesting. And Mateus will finish down in 6th. So we've got another 50-50. For Perinauskas, that puts him on 50 points. And for Butvila, the big loss here is that he didn't get in front into P3. So his issue is that now he's got 45 points instead of 50. If he had 50, he'd be in front of Perinauskas because he has more, because he was higher in pre-qualifying. So a difficult situation here, but we've got with us race winner of race number 1 and 2, Simas Vershitskas. And the question everybody wants to know is what happened at the bus stop chicane in the middle of race 2 when we had that big accident.
Yeah, I was trying to overtake Caius, but he went defensive, and I tried to bait him, and Caius accidentally just overshot the corner, and me too. I just flew out of the trajectory, and Justus came around the outside and took us both.
Okay, so maybe not as much drama as we thought, but still something for the stewards to review after the race. You got the move done, though, at the bus stop chicane on the final lap. Did you want to overtake Justus there, or were you actually just staying behind and it happened accidentally?
I didn't think I would overtake Justus at the last lap on the bus stop, but Justus overshot it, and I took the chance.
Well, opportunities taken. You're into the semi-final. Are you confident with your skills on ACC, or do you think you'll need some more practice before we get into those all-important semi-finals?
I'll need to get a couple more hours in ACC because sadly I'm quite slow there, but maybe I'll get into the finals.
Well, good luck, and we'll see you in the semi-final. Simonas Vershitskas, winner of race 1 and 2 for Group 2 of the Dream to Drive TOPO Centras part of the bracket. We've got Group 3 coming up. We're midway through our quarterfinals. Group 3 and 4 coming up very soon here on World Sim Series on YouTube.
race, prove everything on the track, and continue to pursue the everlasting racing glory as your routine. A single clack of your wheel. The passion is engaged. All you have to do is to commit, to feel the grip in your hand, to perform every precise entry, to deliver the perfect friction circle, and to master the art of driving. You may ask, Where's my race crew? And I would say, leave it to Khan's pit. Ares, the wheelbase that was built to master the competitive sim racing scene. With its powerful skew pole motor and high-precision optical encoder, Ares delivers an unparalleled driving experience with highly detailed force feedback. 290 GP, deemed to become the true next generation. It breaks the planar constraints through a unique 3D ergonomic design and redefines everything about the Formula steering wheel, featuring a full carbon fiber front housing, ensuring a light yet ultra-rigid experience. The MagFlip rocker-type paddles achieve the same functionality as Formula One setups. The CDP system will push your performance to the next level. Focus and execute the agile maneuver, all within just a blink of an eye. With this zealous combination of Ares and 290 GP, the roar of the road thrills both your hands and soul.
Welcome to our view of what we have in the TOPO Centras store, where all the drivers are. We're back to a 7-car group, and we've got another driver not from Lithuania here, Silver Jofert, running in. He was third in. Well, he was third in his group. Where was he in qualifying overall? P11 in the TOPO Centras group.
Yeah, but we know Jofert from the casual World Sim Series races. Well, not the casual, the premium races. Jofert usually has quite good performance on racetracks, especially in the EB80cc Championship. He was very fast. So I hope this group will have a little bit more drama on the racetrack, and we will have 7 race cars. So that's Setikas, Staškevičius, Jofert, Dubinskas, Bitinas, Ulozas, and Čepulis. 7 drivers to compete on the same virtual Spa-Francorchamps racetrack with Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars, the 992.1 versions. All sitting at the same place in Vilnius, the TOPO Centras store. You can see how that looks. Drivers, well, if they have something to blame about, they can just tag the drivers sitting near them. I mean,
fight.
I mean, yeah, if you feel unhappy about something that your rival does on the racetrack, you can just clip him a little bit. If he is sitting beside you, ooh, Setikas running a little bit wide on that exit of Blanchimont. Into the bus stop chicane, he set the fastest middle sector. And he's about to cross the line. No, the lap times should be slightly slower than what we had in the previous groups. Was that a valid lap time? Oh, no, it was not a valid lap time. 2:21.9 for Jofert. Staškevičius 2:22.5. He goes third. Ulozas to second. Čepulis, Briedis with a 2:21.8. I love this. I love this third group. Give us more groups like this one. Because we have drama straight on in the qualifying session. Positions were shuffled. Now Briedis, Dalius Dubinskas Briedis with a provisional pole position, which is 2:21.8. And it's about 2 seconds slower than what we had yesterday with the fastest lap time in the Ovoko groups. That's the difference. These drivers are battling now each other. They are focused on going straight into the semi-finals. The drivers who will advance to the finals will meet the fast drivers of the Ovoko group, but not only on virtual racetracks, they will meet on the real racetrack, Porsche Ring in Estonia, for some real kart and car racing. I think it's gonna be a time trial mode, what we had in the previous season of the Dream to Drive Championship. The drivers had to do a couple of laps with a karting cart. Is it karting? Cart? Yeah, with a cart. And then they did some timing sessions with a car, with a BMW car. I'm not sure which car is going to be used this year. For the finals, Briedis is stuck. That's wrong positioning, and he's behind Chapulis. Chapulis with a 223. That's, I think, loss of improvement. He will still hold the provisional pole position until they cross the line, but this way that Briedis found himself behind a slower car might give a chance for Jofert. He is currently second. Now Setikas in front will just complete one lap. I wonder what happened with Setikas. Or he is. I know what happened with him. I'm surprised. He didn't put in a valid lap time, and Setikas sets the fastest lap time. So bad news for Briedis. Jofert goes second, and Briedis, while being stuck behind Chapulis, he had to make an overtake. I think he'll leave him with P3. No other improvements on the racetrack. Everybody completed their laps. I think Bitness is gonna be the last car.
Bitness improves to second.
Oh, he did improve with an overtake.
He did improve. He went up to second in that final lap, just about. But yep, he did. That's for sure. He went up into second. So Šetikas, Dubinskas, Briedis, Jofert, Ulozas, Bittinas, Steškevičius, and Chapulis. Your top 7, and 7 cars running, so top 7. So we'll try to start their calculations as well.
I think it's going to be an interesting race. Finally, I'm so cheering for a very interesting race. Looking at the laps of these drivers, I mean, there's going to be a battle on the racetrack, definitely. And with Briedis setting in a lap that's only 3/10 slower than the lap time of Setikas, I think he'll be very fast on the racetrack. But he's starting from P2, the position that is not the best one to make good race starts. Finally, I'm very excited about what's ahead of us now for this first race of the third group. Let's get ourselves ready. 40 seconds till the lights go out. Now Setikas on the left side, Briedis on the right side of our screens. Now Jofert in that purple car behind, sitting third, and Ulozas is fourth, just behind Dubinskas. We have 7 drivers here.
Almost time to go. So back to 7 drivers. We'll be back to 6 for the final group. Will be group 4. But we've got Group 3 on your screens. As the lights come on, it's Dream to Drive, TOPO Centras. And Group 3, Race 1. Lights come on. And lights go out. It's green flag. Oh, jump start for... I can't see who that is. Ulozas. And down into turn 1 they go. Briedis immediately to the inside and had contact from behind. And now Jofert tries to get past. And again from second, you're really struggling. But this time, Dubinskas Briedis goes to the... Well, he's going to be on the outside on the run down to Rouge, but no, he has Jofert slot in behind him, so he keeps his position. Now has an opportunity into last source to get that move done. We've seen so many moves being made. He's sitting in the slipstream, 0.1 back from the car ahead. And he's going to get closer and closer. He goes to the outside. Outside has been the preferred line. Outside does decide Jofert as well. And Briedis gets in front and gets to the lead of the race.
No, he doesn't. He stays second. He was on the inside, actually. That was Setikas who was on the outside. And
I hate that we have the same colored cars. I don't know who's where. So here we go on the brakes. And Jofert... So Jofert now goes in front of Briedis, and then comes Bitnas, Steškevičius, Chapulis, Ulozas, who has a drive-through penalty as well for a jump start at the start of the race.
Now, good news for Setikas, who runs wide. He runs wide, and that's too fast. Into Pohun still stays in front of Jofert. Dubinskas kind of struggling here. He's pressured by Bitnas and Steškevičius. Oh, Jofert is going for a move. there's your drama. Small contacts into this chicane. And Joffert almost pushing Setikas forward, kind of trying to keep him, trying to tell him that just let's keep on moving forwards and try to lose that tail from behind. Dubinskas is struggling. Now we have the chance to pull away from this battle and leave it for ourselves. So Setikas runs defensive, or maybe just taking a slightly different line, running down the Blanchimont straight. Bried is finally released by Bitnas and Stashkevicius, and Setikas tries to go defensive, then takes the preferred line into the bus stop chicane. No, Bitnas and Stashkevicius having a little battle into the bus stop chicane. And
now Briedis is closer to Joffert than Joffert is to Setikas in the lead. So could be a switch of positions once again, depending on how this run through happens. This run through goes. Left on the right, and a little bit of a cut from Joe. Oh no, that's Bitnas in front. And here comes Briedis to the outside. He's definitely on the outside now because Joffert's in the purple car on your left, driver's right, and Briedis on the outside, who's going to make the corner. And Briedis makes the corner and gets the move done around the outside. This is the place we've seen pretty much all of the moves made, around the outside into the comb. To the outside now goes Joffert, but you can't really do it here unless you're super duper brave, and he can't get it done. Doesn't have that overspeed. Back into second goes Dubinskas Briedis.
Nice battles on the second lap, and that's good news for Setikas. Already 1.7 seconds safe. You want to get at least one win. You kind of then have good chances to move forward to the semi-finals. I'm pretty sure nobody is bothered by calculating the points while they are driving. They are just trying to do the best that they can, and this is the best news for Setikas. Dubinskas now back into P2 with that phenomenal qualifying lap time. Even with an overtake, he managed to get P2. Now it's time for Dubinskas to shine. He has clear track ahead of him. 1.8 seconds is still doable, but Joffert is right on the tail. So it is going to depend on the exit of Dubinskas, whether he will have to go defensive into a couple of corners, so he'll be able to take the preferred line. Looks like Joffert is getting a little bit closer. I'm not sure if he'll going for a move now. He's a bit too far behind from Dubinskas. Oh, and he's actually going for a move. And he's interested in P2 now. He's not bothered about the win. He doesn't want to go and try to chase down Setikas. So they are releasing Setikas into the lead. We have 3 cars battling behind. And this is going to be a big battle for P2. Very important place, a small contact between Dubinskas and Joffert. So Joffert tried to cross the line and take the inside line on the exit. Dubinskas slowed down the car a little bit more just to defend that crossover move, and he did it good with that nudge into the back end. He has good runoff into the Camel Straight.
But now I'm trying to recalculate quickly where we are in the points. But back to what we were at the start for the top 3, and I think Setikas is in a very, very good position. And definitely it's more pressure from behind that we've got with Joffert and Dubinskas Briedis for that second spot. If somebody can finish second and second with a 60, you're pretty much guaranteed to go through. With a 50, you'll be in a tiebreak, and a big tiebreak at that. So still to watch somebody off the road.
It was Chapulis with the big slide, and now he's dropping off from Stashkevicius and Bitnas, leaving both cars to battle between themselves. Now Joffert is definitely aiming for P2. He wants to go to the semi-finals. I'm pretty sure Joffert wants to go to the finals. The finals will take place, the real part of the finals will take place on the Porsche Ring racetrack, where Joffert actually works at. So he would have a nice edge against his rivals. He knows the track in and out. I think no matter what vehicle you'll put him in, whether it's a kart or it's a race car or it's a sports car, Joffert would have an edge in the finals. So he'll try his best to maybe take that P2, though he's falling behind Dubinskas now slightly, though you can see how aggressive he is. And I think he's not interested, he's not bothered in P1 anymore in this race, but he wants the P2 for himself definitely, and that's gonna be a battle till the finish line. I'm pretty sure about that. Both drivers on a very similar pace. Dubinskas being a little bit faster on lap 2 and lap 3, but both drivers were battling each other on both of the laps, and Joffert is still right on the tail now. Dubinskas is gonna be more interested in his rear view mirrors than what's happening in front. And race 2 will see the drivers in a reversed order. That's trying to lose the slipstream. Dubinskas trying everything that he can to lose that tail. What's happening with Staškevičius and Bitnas? A little battle taking place into the Lecombe chicane, and Bitnas managed to stay in
And this
front.
is for pole position, remember. This is for pole position in race 2, so it's not just a battle for 4th and 5th, but this is pole position for race 2. And you saw in the last race that it means quite a lot. Obviously, Butkavic lost out. He still finished 3rd in that race, so it's still super duper important to be in that pole position. It can give you a lot, especially as we've seen that 2nd place is a difficult one to start at. So something to consider here, but definitely a bigger battle for those two in front, as they're kind of battling for the last spot to get into the semi-final. But again, from the semi-final, it's the top 3 out of 8, so it's less than half going through out of that one. So really, it's going to be even more tight between all the cars. But sometimes those tight battles, they give a chance to have the battles open up a little bit more because of incidents. Here's Staškevičius against Bitnas.
Yep, in that battle for the pole position.
Not able to do anything yet.
Setika setting the fastest lap time, 3 to go.
Yep, and goes to the outside. Does Staškevičius. And can he get round the outside? He can't, but he'll try to get the cross on the exit. He can't do that yet, but now he has to look at Lecombe, and you've seen so many drivers overtake around the outside. Can this be another move completed? Here we go. Up, Radion they went. Dubinskas losing the slipstream, and he's actually running away from Joffert now. Staškevičius making a move actually into Lecombe. I don't know if you really even want to defend. We've seen so many moves being done around the outside. Maybe it's better to just be on the outside, not defend, have the guy go to the inside. You'll outbrake him on the outside. That's how it's worked so far in every single race we had this whole weekend. So maybe that's the better strategy here.
Yep, good points to consider for the drivers. Just stay on the outside line and try to stick your car on the outside line, which seems to be a little bit faster than taking the inside line for an overtake. Now, looking at the lead, Dubinskas, yeah, he does have a very similar pace than what Setikas has, and that means the second race is going to be very important for this group. Top 3 drivers are running on a very similar pace. Now they will start in a reversed order if they finish like so, and they will have either Bitinas or Stashkevicius in front, so that's going to be important. Joffert again closer to Dubinskas, and the pace, the gaps, they are so identical between the drivers as Stashkevicius is aiming for that pole position. They will start the penultimate lap of the race, so 2 to go now. Oh, Bitnas made a small mistake on the exit, and Joffert very close on the back end of Dubinskas. 2 battles on the racetrack. That's going to be
into turn 1. Nothing's going to happen into turn 1. It's all about Lecombe, but I'd like to go back to that second place battle. So here we go. It's gone from cold back up to hot. 2 to go. So 2 more opportunities at Lecombe they've got, because that's the best overtaking spot around this circuit it's shown so far. Dubinskas does defend though, and Joffert, will he go to the outside? He does go to the outside, and will he outbrake him around the outside?
Whoa.
He does outbrake him around the outside, gets the move done. Like I said, it's better to not defend.
I mean, Joffert was so brave on the brakes. He managed to close the door on the apex for Dubinskas. Great driving by the Estonin, and this is a contact, and Joffert goes off the racetrack.
Oh no, so Joffert off the racetrack after contact. He still gets out in front in P3 and should be able to hold on to that final spot on the podium, and he'll try his best to hold on to that final spot on the podium. But now, well,
I mean,
I don't know what happened there exactly. Obviously, the stewards will have to have a better look at it, but I don't know if Dubinskas left enough space there.
I mean, he kind of rammed him off the racetrack. Not sure who was closing the doors. Yeah, maybe Joffert was closing the doors, but there was not enough of car on the inside from Dubinskas. He just clipped the back end of Joffert's car. Stewards will have to take a look at it. Now, I'm trying to figure out the options for Dubinskas. If he's facing a 5-second penalty, he might just try and open up the gap on the final lap to try and be at 5 seconds, or he should let Joffert through and then try to retake him. I would say with option 1, I believe, just try to open up the gap, and if you receive a 5-second penalty, Joffert making a mistake, that's going to be good news for Dubinskas with that gap in consideration. Look, Joffert just lost 1 full second in... Oh, or did he? No, maybe he did not. The timing tower sometimes plays full of us, and Bitnas and Stashkevicius in the background still battling for the pole position for race 2, which is gonna be important. Whoever will finish 4th and start first will have a small chance at looking into the win, which would give you 50 points, and that would be a very good result. Oh, and that's Stashkevicius. He made that move, but that's going to be an off-track. How do the referees look at an off-track? And
I think the stewards will not like that one. Will he let him through?
Nope.
Doesn't. So, well, the problem here now is that even if there is a penalty, if he doesn't let him through, Stashkevicius would start on pole.
Oh, yeah, so he needs to stay in front no matter what happens.
Yeah, but then it doesn't matter what penalty he gets because he still starts on pole for the next race.
Yes.
So, I don't know if I like this. Maybe we'll have a decision quickly enough to shuffle them around if needed.
Well, yeah, I mean, the live stewards working on site, they have the chance. I'm not sure technically how it would be processed. You would need to start a new server with set grid before the race start. So we have to wait a little bit and see if there will be some decisions taken. Setikas looking for an easy win in race 1. He'll have to be very calm for race 2, and
One of the biggest gaps we've had, actually. I don't think it's as big as Juknavic's had to the rest of the field, but pretty close to that. 5.5 seconds, and it's a pole to win, and another race winner who was quickest in the pre-qualifying for their group. And then it's going to be Dubinskas, Briedis, Silver, Jofert. And oh, these guys are going at it. Still, Staskavicius will finish in 4th ahead of Bittinas and then Chapulis, who joined the battle.
We had 3 cars there, I only saw 2. They were so close. Okay, let's jump on to the scene. Look, that's what we wanted to see. The guys are trying to figure out.
Yeah. Maybe there's an extra point for that.
Oh yeah, we should ask Toras about it.
Points. Yep. Maybe Toras can tell us if we can have for next season. I think for this season maybe a little bit too late, but for let's say you have an incident, or you can even challenge another driver who's in front of you. So let's say you finish 2nd, and you see that P1 is maybe a little weaker than you. Maybe you could fight them for a position, like fist fight them for P1. That would be cool. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that's nice.
I don't know if that has anything to do with race driving and Dream to Drive, but that would be cool to see anyway.
Okay, that's gonna be
a lot of people would pay a lot of money to go watch something like this.
Okay, we are ready for race 2, Gustav.
Oh yeah, race. Sure, we race. I'd like the fight first.
Yeah, no fight here. Maybe after the race, Staskavicius holds on to the pole position, so he did what he had to do. No penalties here, no quick decisions happened off the racetrack, and we will have a second race, which should be very, very interesting, knowing what we had in race 1.
Here we go. A couple of seconds to go. It is race number 6 of the afternoon. 2 more to go after this one. It's green, Dream to Drive 2026 quarterfinal. Group 3, race 2. Wow, that was long. TOPO Centras quarterfinal, Group 3, race 2. Here we go, down into turn 1. Contact between Bittinas and Setikas. Setikas drops a position now. Jofert up stays in 2nd. So 2nd place start and stays in 2nd, something you don't see very often here. And he's got a chance at going for the lead here against Staskavicius.
That's going to be Dubinskas, I believe, who will have the run into Lecombe's chicane. He was not stuck in a rouge corner, and no, it's actually Jofert having a very great run here.
Has a good run, but he's now going to be on the inside. What's going to happen here? I think he's going to go ahead and do what he does, and up into the lead. Silver, Jofert, and now it's his chance to run away, as Setikas down into 6th now. So he's not having a good afternoon right now, or at least the 2nd race is not going great for him after a win in the 1st one. But he's still trying to fight his way through back up into P5. Can he go back up into P4 very, very soon?
Oh, Staskavicius runs wide.
And now that's Dubinskas Briedis going up into 2nd spot. And yep, gets it done. So we'll try and get, I'll get my calculator out. See what would happen if we were to finish like this.
That's proper racing. Finally, we have some action on the racetrack. Hopefully that's not going to end up like that, where drivers set into places and finish in those. That's going to be high pressure on the shoulders of Jofert. He managed to create a gap of 1.2 seconds in those battles. He had a very great start from P2, and actually it was the most successful race start from P2 we've seen so far, and he's now trying to go off into the distance. We've seen the speed of the drivers. They match Setikas, Peso and Bittinas trying now a move on Staskavicius. Both of them had a run in race 1. Oh, and there's a contact, and there's going to be doors opened. Wow, Bittinas almost taking Dubinskas with him, and now he's taking Setikas out, and that's bad news for a race 1 winner. That's going to be the interesting points from the third group. So our race winner is now down into P7. He's 9 seconds off the pace. He didn't have such pace advantage that let's say Juknavicius had against the field, and that's going to be really difficult for Setikas to come back into the positions.
He finished at 5.5 ahead.
I mean, he did finish 5.5 seconds ahead because Dubinskas and Joford had that contact. They had that battle and they lost about 3 seconds. But when the cars were on the racetrack, Dubinskas and Joford had very similar pace. So, I mean, Setikas will be able to catch up with Ulosas Chapulis. I'm sure about that. But what will happen next, that's a question mark. Okay, but it looks like the drivers will open up the doors for Setikas because Ulosas is already off the racetrack. That's going to be P6 for Setikas. And there's plenty of points here. Well, is it plenty of points? P6 gives you 6 points.
Yep, so 6 points that would be heading to him.
And Dubinskas gaining on Joford. Dubinskas actually gaining on Joford, putting that pressure nicely. Stashkevicius stays P3. Chapulis and Bitnas are looking into a battle. So Setikas is looking at a P4 finish, which is quite realistic here. Maybe even higher, actually. It seemed that he lost a lot. Now it seems he didn't lose too much. Still has a chance of a calm evening. If he finishes 4th, he is safely through into the semi-finals, I guess.
If we were to finish as we are right now, it would be Joford on 70, Briedis on 60, and 56 for Setikas. Now, so Group 2, the second highest points haul was a 50 by Pirinauskas. The other group, the second highest was a 60. We could have one of these guys push Pirinauskas out of the semi-final. And this could be our 3-car group that goes into the semi-finals.
Yep, and there's still one group to go, and you never know what happens there. And theoretically, those groups are slower ones, and the gaps between the drivers might be more similar. What we see here in the third group, we basically don't have a clear leader here. We have 3 cars that are very similar on pace. Now, Setikas just set the fastest lap time of the race. It was 2:21.4, so he was 4 tenths faster than Joford and 1 tenth faster than Dubinskas. So he's still here, he's still trying to push, and I think Chapulis and Butnas will have a battle that will help Setikas to gain on those drivers. And yeah, that might create the situation where we have we will have drivers with loads of points. Now remember, Dubinskas might theoretically face a penalty which would swap the positions of Joford and Dubinskas around. Now if Dubinskas overtakes Joford on the racetrack without any incident, that will again make the calculations even more difficult.
Yep, and a lot of drama. Actually, if Dubinskas would overtake here, it would make the calculation easier.
Yeah, just having the penalty in mind, which could push Dubinskas into P3 in race 1, that would still give him an advantage. If Setikas will not be able to finish at least 3rd, they would be tied on points if Setikas finishes 3rd, but he needs to catch up. Only 8 minutes on the clock. He's still 2.8 seconds behind Chapulis, the 2 cars that are battling, but we have a battle for the lead here. It looks like Dubinskas found a little bit more pace on the racetrack in race 2. And he managed to overtake Joford at the opening laps of the first race.
Let's see. Well, Setikas fastest lap of the race. Not surprised. and by quite a bit even. Closest was Dubinskas Briedis at 21.5, 21.8 from Joford, 21.2 from the driver in 6th and winner of race 1. He's still got a good shot at P4, maybe even a podium. Here come the battle. Here come the two battling for the lead. Joford defends the inside. Dubinskas Briedis goes to the outside, and this might be the first time that the outside hasn't worked, as Joford holds on to his position. Side by side between Bittinas and Chapoulis. And no change in... Well, was there a change in position?
Yep, it
Or were
was.
they-
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No. But this brings Setikas much closer to them, and that gap is now under a second. So these two battling. This might be this guy going up and past them. But
Yeah.
that race 1 win was a big insurance policy for him here. If he can get up to 4th, then he'll be fine for sure, because he'll be one of the highest point scorers, except for the ones that won the doubles. And it looks like he's not going to win the second race. Would be the first group where we don't have a double winner.
You never know, actually. Did we have a double winner in the second group?
Yes, because that was
yeah.
Shitskas both. Still, obviously, a question mark, small one, over what happened in that bus stop chicane. But at least on track, we did have a double win. We had a double win for Tadeusz Jugnavicius as well. So this might be our first one where we don't have a double win. But still had the driver who qualified, who was quickest in pre-qualifying of their group. How is that the fastest lap
I
of
don't
the
know.
race?
I'm looking at it and I'm not getting it. Yep, there you go, Setikas. But it was the lap that he set previously.
Actually, Setikas is going for a move. Oh no, he's not. He was super close. It was under a 10th. Actually, Setikas has moved forward. He's up.
Yep,
into
he
P5.
did. He did. I was looking at
And
him.
he's going to go up into P4. I
but
think
this
he's
is the
side by
battle.
side.
Yep, he is.
And goes to the outside now, down the straight. And Setikas has gone through, so now up the Camel Straight they go. This is for the lead, as Jofert is on the inside. Dubinskas Briedis on the outside. And will he get through? They're still side by side. I don't think Jofert's going to give this one up that easily. And oh, a little bit of contact and a push to the outside. And, well, we'll see what the stewards think in that one, but I think that is a racing incident.
Yeah, They were so close side by side, just a small contact, no huge drama, nobody went into the wall, and Dubinska still has his chance to go for the lead. They keep on battling.
Actually, now this puts Eimantas Šitikas into a position of 65 points. He's gotten past and up into P4. Whatever happens between these front two, that puts Šitikas in a position where he should be able to qualify into the semi-final. So a good recovery drive from him, but these two are battling for that spot.
Yeah,
actually, if they finish like they are now, then it's very likely that they'll both go into the semi-final. If they swap positions, then Jofert is in a much more difficult conversation for that semi-final. Here they go into the bus stop chicane once again. Jofert holds on. It's 2 to go now at the line. As Jofert still continues to hold on. It's less than 0.3 of a second. It's going to be another opportunity for Briedis to go to the outside.
Yeah, it's going to be good opportunity. Jofert just tightened up the corner. He kind of went slightly defensive, which compromised his exit. Look at the run that Dubinskas has, though he's going to be held on the Rouge and Rodillion corner, still has the run on Jofert, and he'll take the outside line, and I think he'll be a little bit further ahead of Jofert before the breaking point, if maybe he'll be able to finish up the move till they reach the break zone. Nope. Jofert is...
because he had to move out so early because he was so close. They're still going to be side by side through the left and a little bit slow from Dubinskas. And again, Jofert holds on. He's going to have to defend here now into the right-hander. And it looks like he's held on once again. Because Dubinskas Briedis was so close, he couldn't get the overspeed. He had to move out of the slipstream very, very early. He hadn't yet collected enough overspeed to actually have a good run through. So for Jofert, he wants Dubinskas Briedis to be as close to him as possible when they exit out of, when they go into Radion. And you'll often see with very experienced drivers, you'll often see them lifting, if they're super close to someone before Eau Rouge and Radion, you'll see them lift off, have a gap, and then slingshot out of Eau Rouge and Radion to get the exit and to get then the slipstream all the way up the Kemmel Straight and into Les Combes. So that's the strategy you want to go for if you're super close, especially if your rival has a bad exit and you can't get them before Eau Rouge. But enough talking. Here we go. Now another overtaking opportunity into... Oh, no overtaking opportunity if you keep doing that. I was going to say overtaking opportunity into the bus stop, but Dubinskas Briedis went right off the track, and he's getting super close because Jofert is going defensive. Here we go. It's just one more to go. White flag in the air. Well, there's no white flag, but we'll imagine it. Here we go. Down into turn one. Dubinskas Briedis goes to the outside. Jofert wants to defend that line. And Dubinskas Briedis was kind of there, but again, he's super duper close. He's going to have to lift if he wants to have that perfect run into Les Combes. He's staying behind, he's lifting off a little bit, but I think he's still just that tiny bit too close. He's going to have to lift off on the exit or something, but he goes side by side, and look at how early he had to go out. So he's going to be side by side all the way up the straight, and the problem for him is he doesn't have that overspeed in the slipstream. Look at the gap not going down. Look at the gap not going down, and Jofert's going to still be on the inside, and I think Jofert's going to hang on. That's some great driving from Jofert. He was smart through there. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but Dubinskas Briedis, even though he had the pace, he's not able to get through right now. Staskevicius also getting involved in this battle, and a great battle at that for the lead of this race, but Jofert driving a very, very smart race at the moment.
And this is the last lap, and look at the gap that went down between Staskevicius and Dubinskas, and if these guys continue to battle like this, we might have Staskevicius having a go. Setikas is 3 seconds behind Staskevicius, so no chance for him by the looks of it, but if these two drivers make just the tiniest mistake, that might be a gift for Staskevicius, and if you win at least one race in your group, you have high chances to go through into the semi-finals. Staskevicius finished 4th in the first race, so he would definitely have a lot of chances to go through into the semi-finals. So he's just sitting tight and hoping for something to happen in front of him. These two drivers so close to each other. Dubinskas will have his final chance while they are approaching the bus stop chicane. He doesn't need to go wide again. He's a little bit further behind, will not repeat the same mistake, and he'll holds to the chance to attack into the bus stop chicane. That's gonna be tight. Jofert late on the brakes, Dubinskas also late on the brakes, and that's good news for Jofert. He just managed to shut the door.
Yep, a little bit of contact, but it's enough. Jofert takes the... Oh no, spin for Staskevicius, and well... And that's going to bring Setikas up in another spot. That's another... and a lot of places lost. He's actually gone down to last. Incredible.
Wow.
Last lap. And it was, well, without anyone's help. And... wow, well, what a finish. So, with the results as they stand right now, Šetikas and Joford both collect 70 points. They're both through, I'm sure of it. Now, the interesting part is, because Dubinskas Briedis couldn't get through, he sits on 60 points. That puts him on more points than what Justas Pirinauskas had in the last group, and he was the second highest point scorer. This could mean that because of that no overtake, it might be 3 drivers through, and this could kick out Justas Pirinauskas of the semi-final. So big drama there. I don't know if those two at the front knew that if they stayed in position, they were kind of both guaranteed to go through. But we've got
Joford. That's Silver Joford, who joined our commentators booth. And after race 1, it didn't seem that everything went well for you. You did good with battling Dubinskas, but race 2 gave you a win. How you feel about that? And it looks like you just won a ticket through to the semifinals. Same question as Gustas gave to other participants. How do you feel about your strength in ACC platform?
I feel not bad. We had ACC for the Estonian Championships for quite a few years, and I've driven the Porsche Cup there as well, so it fit me pretty well. It's a pretty different car to the AC Porsche Cup, but it's for me, it's fun to drive. I think I'm confident going into that round, and obviously happy about what happened today.
Yeah, that was great racing from you. I think that was the most interesting group we had so far. And do you see yourself going through to the finals, where you would have the chance to participate on a racetrack where you are still working at?
Yes, exactly. I am working at the Porsche ring. I don't know. I think I'm quietly confident about getting to the finals. No high expectations. Obviously, it requires a lot of work. Well, I have to download ACC again, first of all, and get it back into the swing of things with that, and figure out how to drive there. But feeling fairly confident. And obviously, if I were to make it to the final, I'm very comfortable with the track. I've driven probably hundreds of laps there, so. Main goal is to make it to the final, and then see where it goes from there.
Great. So thanks for very interesting 2 races you gave us and the viewers. Congratulations on your result, and see you in the semi-finals, I guess.
See you too. I'm very excited.
Thanks. Yeah, so it was Silver Joford on our screens, and let's go and have a quick break as we will be back with the last drama from the Topo Centras group. Fourth group are getting ready to race themselves out on the virtual Spa-Francorchamps circuit.
to compete in the real race, prove everything on the track, and continue to pursue the everlasting racing glory as your routine. A single clack of your wheel. The passion is engaged. All you have to do is to commit, to feel the grip in your hand, to perform every precise entry, to deliver the perfect friction circle, and to master the art of driving. You may ask, where's my race crew? And I would say, leave it to Khan's pit. Ares, the wheelbase that was built to master the competitive sim racing scene. With its powerful skew pole motor and high-precision optical encoder, Ares delivers an unparalleled driving experience with highly detailed force feedback. 290 GP, deemed to become the true next generation. It breaks the planar constraints through a unique 3D ergonomic design and redefines everything about the Formula steering wheel, featuring a full carbon fiber front housing, ensuring a light yet ultra-rigid experience. The MagFlip rocker-type paddles achieve the same functionality as Formula One setups. The CDP system will push your performance to the next level. Focus and execute the agile maneuver, all within just a blink of an eye. With this zealous combination of Ares and 290 GP, the roar of the road thrills both your hands and soul.
Back. Here we go, back to track action, and it is the final group. It's already the final group of this afternoon. We're at Spa. Still, the track hasn't changed, the cars haven't changed, nothing's changed, only the drivers keep rotating in. Now, as an update to what we have in terms of our live standings, Tadas Jukanovic leads the field with 100 points. He's ahead of Simas Veršickas on the tiebreak, who's also on 100 points, and Eimantas Šetikas and Silver Jofert both on 70 points, and Eimantas Šetikas ahead on tiebreak. Then Oskar Tomala and Dalius Dubinskas Briedis on 60 points, and Oskar Tomala ahead on tiebreak. So this is your top 6. This is where we cut the line now, but the new group starts their races, and it will be 8 going through. So now we'll have Minikas Eichinas, who was quickest in the pre-qualifying sessions, and we'll see how he'll get through. But he'll need some luck, will Justas Vidanauskas, to get through into the semi-final. He'll need a pretty low score from all of these drivers for nobody to get through, but everything's possible. The problem for Justas Vidanauskas is that his tiebreak is quite low. He was 22nd in pre-qualifying, so he's at a disadvantage there for sure. So on your screens, 4th fastest driver overall in pre-qualifying, and he's the quickest in pre-qualifying for this group.
Yep, Eichinas will be definitely looking at a good result here. He's fast. He participated plenty of times in the Dream to Drive Championships. This is the 6th season already. The first season took place 9 years ago, and I believe Eichinas was participating in the opening Dream to Drive season also, and he was always strong in the simulation races, and he'll be looking at a very good result out of the final corner. Let's look at the first laps. 2:21.5, not a bad lap. He's already 1.2 seconds faster than Janušaitis, Žukas, now Azikev. Now this goes into P3. And laps are in. What about Yashinskas? I think he did have an invalid lap time, so not everybody managed to set the laps, and this is going to be the biggest grip so far of this afternoon. 8 cars in total, and hopefully...
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so someone made it, actually finally made it to the final, to the quarterfinal. They took their spots.
That's nice. I was expecting that we'll have the whole day today without a full grid, but nice to see drivers showing up, as they should.
For the final qualifying session of today, time ran out as usual. The second flying laps for the drivers remain intact. H&S setting his personal fastest sector.
He's definitely the favorite for this one.
Yeah, by the looks of it so far, it should be an easy walk for him. If there will be no big improvements behind, that should leave H&S with a clear head for the first race at least, but I think the results should be a little bit closer, though it's not guaranteed. That's, well, the way the groups were sorted, it was, well, this group has the fourth, it has the 4th, the 8th, the 12th, 16th, 20th, the 24th, 28th and 32nd position of the pre-qualifying group. And I think H&S has an advantage here, definitely. Well, Janušaitis and this, maybe, they will have a chance of being closer. Oh, 220.9. That's more than enough, I believe. 221.8 for Janušaitis.
So this is actually the second fastest time we've seen all day in qualifying. Tadas Juknevičius had a 20.7. So Nikas H&S, wow, a real lap time here, and a big lap time from this as well, 21. No, I'm looking at practice. I'm not getting updated results for this group. Here we go. So Janušaitis 21.8. So yep, big lap from H&S. Fastest, second fastest so far overall in qualifying. And he is ahead of, well, my results are going crazy. He's ahead of Janušaitis, oh, I've lost it again. Jashinskas, Stankevičius, Azikev, Žukas, and Sinkevič. Putting some numbers in on my end.
That's going to be a very important race for Pirnauskas also. He's on that edge where he might miss out with the semifinals, even though he finished second in his group. But that's the way it is in this championship. Points are being calculated, and that's how you go through into the semifinals. So Pirnauskas did great, but will that be enough?
And here we go. The lights coming on. It is the quarterfinals and the second to last race here tonight. Here we go. TOPO Centras Group 4, Race 1 underway. Janušaitis on that horrible second position that we've seen. Can he actually challenge for the lead? He's got a hit in the back from behind. Oh, man, I don't want to start second here. I really don't. This has been horrible if you start second.
Oh yeah, this was also a horrible first corner elimination. A lot of contacts, and I think this was the worst first corner that we have today. H&S warming up the tires to have a better grip into Le Comps.
Because he can. He's got a huge gap coming into Le Comps, so he can do what he wants. And this is Stankevičius versus Žukas for P3 at the moment. cars behind them as well. And so another time that second place curse strikes. Unfortunate for Januszaitis. Tried to move back up. He's got then a chance of at least getting up to 4th and maybe stealing a pole position for the next race.
Yep, and this is the battle for P3 between Stankevičius, Žukas and Azikiev. All cars running a little bit wide into the corners, already having damage from that incident in turn 1. And I think the tires are still slightly cold, and while they are being so close to each other, they just try to ask a little bit more than the tires can offer for them. Overshooting the corners, running wide and having no exits, and look how the gaps differentiate from corner to corner. It was Stankevičius who had the gap. Now he does have no gap. Žukas is right on his tail. Then we have Januszaitis and Sinkiewicz behind in the battle for P6.
Januszaitis on the tail as well. Super duper close and gets the position.
Stankevičius stays 3rd.
Will be under pressure, but Januszaitis will try to catch up now to Azikiev in front.
Oh, Sinkiewicz off the racetrack and losing position to Jashinskas.
Yep, super duper wide. Azikiev now sits in that golden ticket position for pole.
Actually, Žukas is...
Oh no, yeah. Yep, I'm getting confused because we've got so many cars out on track this.
A huge grid finally this evening, this afternoon. Still they have a slightly more cars. It doesn't matter if you finish 6th or 8th, you still have no chance of collecting many points as possible. But it's a little bit harder.
It's more of a grid to get through as well if you're somebody who has an issue like Januszaitis.
Yep.
Ran into down at turn 1, so I think it's something that's going to be under investigation. It wasn't like he ran off the road himself. We definitely saw a big hit into his rear, so something to consider.
Yep, and Januszaitis is getting closer quite fast to this group of 3 cars, so we will have a group of 4 cars shortly. And this is a battle for P3. Now, it's not enough if you look at 1 race, but when we have 2 races, 3rd place is good if you aim to finish first in the 2nd race.
The problem is you start 2nd.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an issue. We have those first corner incidents. H&S setting the fastest lap time, already 3 seconds ahead of this.
Well, H&S, unless his computer explodes.
Which is not his computer, and he could, well, he could blame about and then would get some decisions maybe.
But I don't think that's going to happen. Good equipment given to the drivers by TOPO Centras and Dream to Drive. So I don't think there's a chance of that. So he's pretty safe.
Januszaitis qualified 2nd. He's currently sitting 6th. We seen today that qualifying results are still not everything that tell about the pace of the drivers. Racecraft is another part, and Januszaitis now down into P6. Looks like he's struggling, even though the drivers ahead are battling each other. Oh, Zhukas runs wide. That's going to be a move for Azikev. And it is. Now Januszaitis is still too far behind. I wonder why he's not able to find the pace that he had in the qualifying session. And yeah. Well, he'll still try to make something. We've seen Zhukas now making a mistake as Azikev goes up into P4, 1.5 seconds behind Stankevičius. And the battle is not over for Januszaitis. He needs to find the pace that he had in the qualifying session. To be the second fastest on the racetrack would give you a small edge. What's happening between Azikev and Zhukas? I believe Azikev now made a small mistake, and now Zhukas is back in front. Oh, interesting camera. Back in front of Azikev, and now this is a chance for Januszaitis. Oh, he runs wide. That's coming from the slipstream from the cars ahead, and the drivers were not prepared for that. They were hoping for bigger grip, and they did not find it. Januszaitis so late on the brakes into the bus stop chicane, almost ramming the back end of Azikev, and this is not how you make a perfect move. You have to keep it in between the limits of the corner, the limits of the track, and aim for a good exit if you want an overtake, not like coming straight into a corner at rocket speed. And he's gonna be behind Azikev now into Rouge and Rodion corners. Up onto the Camel Straight, into the Lecomps, a place on the circuit where overtakes happen quite often, and that's gonna be a chance for Januszaitis.
That's the most common overtaking spot. Januszaitis goes to the inside. Smartly though, nobody goes to defend on the inside and can't get through. So that outside line is so good that it's better to not defend, as we've seen. Because almost every move we've been watching, especially between drivers of more of a similar speed, we've seen moves being made in other places of the track, but that's often when there is a very, very big disparity of speed. When the drivers are pretty close in speed, it's almost always at Lecombe, and almost always when the driver in front defends and then loses the position because the outside line is just so much quicker, so much more grip on the racing line compared to off the track, and that's what happens. Clearly that inside is not getting cleaned out, and outside line is working much better.
Searching for different lines by the looks of it. The drivers are taking different approaches to the corners, still staying quite close to each other in this battle. I love how they have that. Oh, the blinker is also on for Januszaitis, so they have all the different buttons set up correctly, and I love how both Azikev and Januszaitis were flashing the headlights running down one of the straights. So everything is set up nicely for the drivers. They can use whatever they need in the car to make those moves. Seichin has 220.4. He does have a lot of pace here. In that fourth group, he would have been strong in any of the groups. Well, maybe not in the first group. We've seen Juknavicius setting a lap time of 2 minutes 19 seconds. But Teichnas, well, I think he'll not only be through to the semifinals, he'll be the one to look at in the semifinals. When we get there, of course, we have to finish both of the races to know exactly the drivers who will advance through to the semifinals. 8 drivers in total out of the 32 that qualified for the quarterfinals. And now it's between Zhukas and Azikev to battle it out for the provisional pole position for race 2, which is also a very important place to finish your first race if you're not P1 or P2. Azikev runs wide, and that's going to be a chance for Januszaitis. He got the door shut close and he had to lift, so was in a very unlucky situation, in an unlucky position to battle Azikev, and they are still close. And what's happening here? Januszaitis clipping the back end of Zhukas, or was that Azikev? And Zhukas stays in front. interesting racing, actually. Quite close between the drivers. Small contacts happened there, here and there, and nobody was able to change the position that they were running at before that interesting battle took place. For me, it seemed that Zhuka's first I thought that he let Azikev through, but then he had a good run back to P4, and they couldn't stay at the same places as they were.
Yep, so no change there. And Januszaitis, even though he was super duper quick to catch up to these guys, he's been having a lot of trouble to try and get back past them. So finally he gets a position, but still he's gonna have two to go at the end of this one to try and get back up into a pole position for the next race. If he doesn't do that, I think any real opportunity at qualifying into the semifinals will be gone.
And he outbraked himself a little bit into the bus stop chicane. Azikev couldn't find a way through on him. That's good news for Zhukas. He's now 7/10 ahead, and Azikev, oh, this is a nice move.
No. And brilliant move by Azikev, who just made Januszaitis make a mistake. He didn't touch him. He didn't do anything wrong. He just showed his nose. He said, hey, buddy, I'm still here. Oh, and still side by side and more contact, and Azikev straight on at Eau Rouge. And, well, he says thank you very much. For the track designers, the circuit was updated a couple of years ago, and that wall at Radion was moved. And how is Januszaitis now side by side with Zhukas for P4, still going around the outside? But Azikev is going to say a big, big thank you for the circuit designers and the circuit that they upgraded and moved the wall at Radion much more to the left-hand side. Here comes Januszaitis, though. He's going to go down the inside, and I don't know how he caught up to Zhukas there.
Something happened with Zhukas, definitely, because Januszaitis also did not have the ideal line through Rouge and Radion, but he managed to get on through on Zhukas in the Lecombe corner. He's now up to 4th, so a couple of contacts happen again for Januszaitis. He's trying to fool his rivals with that right blinker. It looks like it worked on Zhukas. He went wide to the right side in Pohun. But Januszaitis is now up into P4. This is provisional pole position, a very important race in every group in this TOPO Centras quarterfinals.
Kiev lost out a lot, so Januszaitis is on course for that 15 points, and most importantly, a pole position for the next one. Dominykas Eichinas, though, in the bus stop chicane, we haven't seen him much this race because he just put the pedal down and won. It's another win for the fastest
one lap
driver.
to go. 1 lap to go.
Oh no, it's one lap to go. I thought it was the checkered flag.
It could be the checkered flag.
Yeah, for the lead, I don't think anything's gonna change. I really thought this was the final lap. I don't know why.
They will still hang around that spot for Uncle Shams.
One more lap, okay, but I don't think much is gonna change. But I really thought this was the final lap of the race. Oh no!
This is the 7th race of this afternoon, so we can get ourselves a little bit dizzy as Zhukas plants one wheel into the gravel on the exit of La Source. That's not gonna help you with the overspeed into Rouge and Radion. What's happened with Azikev? He was so close to Yashinskas and now cuts the Radion once more. Yashinskas on the other side joined the party in the battle for provisional pole position. This is the last lap. The gaps are a little bit too big for something to happen, but the drivers keep making mistakes. So you should keep concentrated and focused on what's happening, and you might get your chance. We've seen a lot of some changes in the last corner of the last lap this afternoon already. So you have to never give up and just try to hold on to the drivers. Sometimes they spin on the exit of the bus stop chicane right before the start-finish line.
Yep, we've seen that happen before. So now Yashinskas is under well, he's putting pressure on Zhukas here. So trying to climb up. This is for 5th spot. It's 10 points for 5th. Obviously, just outside that bubble for the reverse grid pole, which is something you want if you still want a chance at getting into the semi-final. Oh, why? Then I think that is opportunity done and dusted. Well, actually, he has a good exit here. But this time, it is the final lap, as we still have a look at this battle. But Dominikas H&S dominates race 1. He was quickest in pre-qualifying. He wins race 1. Here we go. And now,
I think
Jasinskis has gone through, actually, and he's going to have to defend into the bus stop chicane. And Zhukas tries as he's going to be on the inside. Doesn't make contact. Jasinskis makes the move on the final lap to go up an extra spot. And that is gonna be it for race number 1. Sienkiewicz will be the final car to cross the line, 22.5 seconds back from everybody else, so a lonely race for him.
looking at how Zhukas lost a couple of places, it seems that sometimes he's struggling with gear changes or something. So even though Jasinskis went wide into the gravel trap, he still had the overspeed on Zhukas. So maybe
no, I think Zhukas, he clipped on the exit. He clipped the inside curb. Jasinskis clipped the outside, the gravel, but he still had a good exit. I think Zhukas just turned in a little bit early, clipped a little bit of grass, and that's why he didn't have the best exit.
Okay, so maybe that is also a nice and solid explanation on what happened to Zhukas, because, well, he seemed quite good in that position, but then he lost out. Now, Janušaitis with a very important P4 finish. What will he be able to do with it? And what about H&S, who will start from P4, the outside line? The worst part belongs to Stankevičius. We'll see how that goes on the final race of this weekend and the final race of the quarterfinals overall in the Dream to Drive 2026 Championship. Let's come on and get those cars rolling into turn 1.
Final time for the quarterfinals, and this is TOPO Centras Group 4, Race 2, the final race we have this afternoon. And here we go, green, 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 as they run down into turn 1. A good start by H&S, who goes to the inside, wants to protect his position here. Super wide from 1, 2, and, well, 2 cars just went right off the road. This time nothing. There was no contact, that was for sure. So, Janušaitis, this H&S Jasinskis, your top 4 at the moment. And here we go. H&S has a good, very good run on this move. Well, doesn't even want to defend that one. He says, go on through, buddy, because, yep, he knows there's not much he can do. H&S has been incredibly quick all day today, and even on the inside, he's going to get that move done easily. And here is Azikiev, who has a car run wide in front of him, a few cars almost spinning behind him, and nobody's touching anybody, so they're all just doing this by themselves. And it's a big gap from P5 downwards. Here comes, tries to come Jasinskis to the inside. But,
it was actually Azikiev and Zhukas. Jasinskis is 4th, a little bit further ahead.
So, yep, and well, that battle's gone away now. So, Janušaitis, H&S, Vis, Jasinskis, Azikiev, Zhukas, Stankevičius, Sienkiewicz, your top 8. Your 8 cars on track, not top 8. Well, top 8, but also we've got
all cars are safely in the top 10 places.
Yes, great job by everybody. And all cars in the points as well.
Yes.
So that's even better. Everybody will get at least something. So here comes H&S on the back of Janušaitis, and I think this is going to be a pretty done deal here.
Well, you never know how much of a defensive driver Janušaitis is planning to be. He knows that he needs to win if he wants to go through to the semifinals. He finished 4th in the first race, so 2nd is not enough, and 2nd is not an option for Janušaitis. So you never know what the driver will try to figure out for the remaining of the race. We've completed lap 1, and there are still 6 laps to go from this point on. That would be a very difficult task for Janušaitis. Ečenas seems very calm and relaxed. He can allow himself to finish 2nd. Now, if these two drivers are friends, they could come up with a strategy. I'm not sure if they know each other, but this might be an option. If you have a friend, and if you are Janušaitis and you are friends with Ečenas, you can create a situation where you could help your buddy to go through to the semifinals. I don't know, I just came up with it from my head. Just a thought. I'm not sure if they know each other and if it's all about it, but looks like Ečenas is not in a rush to overtake Janušaitis. This is still in a battle with these two drivers.
Would, if he would win here, he would be through. Stankovičius actually was who started in 2nd, and I think he started in 2nd. He's dropped all the way down to 7th. He's dropped all the way down to 7th. So 2nd place strikes again here, and so for him it's a problem because he finished 3rd. He would have had a chance to collect some good points and maybe have a shot at the semi-final. I think that's gone now. Now, really, if these two are gonna work together, the situation would be Ečenas on 80 and Janušaitis on 65. That would put them both through, guaranteed. And that would mean Pirinauskas out semi-final. If there is a position switch between these two, then for sure it is Ečenas going through, and then
we need to get our calculators out.
To see who the next one would be. I think that would be Vis, but he's 24th. Pirinauskas was 22nd, and yeah, so it would be between these two. But actually, Ečenas is trying to mount a move now, so there's definitely no strategy or team orders here, or friend orders, because they're definitely fighting. And this is bringing Vis into the battle as well. If Vis can get through, he might be the one to snatch that final spot. Oh, Ečenas has gone through.
Oh yeah, he
did
did
it on the exit. He just overtook on the exit. Just had a great exit and said thank you very much. He's gone through. So no need for a crazy battle. No need for any crazy moves. He's just driven around him on the exit. And job done, and he's actually gained time through Radion, and who's coming up behind, it's Vis, who has an opportunity here. Closing, 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 and not enough. Not yet, though.
Yep, and if Vis finishes 2nd, then he's also through into the semifinals, if I get it right. So this is gonna be a very important battle between Janušaitis and Vis. And it doesn't change nothing for Janušaitis, but it does change for Vis. So
yep, if it finishes like this, it would be Pirinauskas going through into the semi, and only Ečenas from this group going into the semi-final. So this position swap doesn't only affect these guys, it also affects Pirinauskas, who's been out the car for more than an hour, I think, by now.
Yep, and Janušaitis qualified 2nd, Vis qualified 3rd. It was 2/10 difference in the qualifying laps. Now looking at the fastest lap times of the first race, 21.5 for Vis, 21.8 for... No, actually 22.3 for Janušaitis. Maybe he didn't have a damaged car.
Well, Janušaitis had, obviously he was off the road at turn 1 and then had to recover through, so I don't think he had a chance to really get through, get a good lap.
I think he still had clean track, but he did not have the pace, so maybe he had some damage on his car, or he was...
From lap 1. But Vis has an opportunity here. Now, if Vis gets through, then that's him into the semi, and Pirnauskas out. The other question is there any investigation still going through about that incident between Vershitskas and others in that Group 2 race? So that's something we don't know yet, and if anything's been resolved there. So, yep, still question marks, but we're going off the info we have now. The one that's definitely without a question mark for this race is H&S, who's, if he continues on like this, he's guaranteed to qualify in and would be our third driver to get a 100-point score from today. And actually, from the whole quarterfinals, we didn't have one yesterday at all. Here comes Viss, though, but he's still too far back, and I don't think he can do any.
You know what? Actually, I'm looking at a table that has penalties, and race 2, Vershitskas got a 5 seconds penalty. So that means Pirnauskas won the second race, and he's also through. I think that's the case. I'm not sure if that's official or this is valid, but I definitely see a 5-second penalty in race 2 in that Group 2 race for Vershitskas. So that would give Pirnauskas the win.
Yep, and then it would mean that this can do whatever he wants. He needs to win the race to have a chance of qualifying.
Yep, and also Dubinskas has a penalty, so there will be different points actually. Dubinskas also has a penalty for an incident in race 1. Dubinskas finished second in race 1 in his group, but with that penalty applied, he actually drops down to P6.
Okay, so I'll try to get those results for me. See if I can figure out what positions are the drivers in. Oh, the penalties haven't been applied yet, so it would be nice if we could see them. Alright, I've got the sheet now. I'll try to make some calculations while Lodita runs you through the race.
Yep, and while we look at the battle between Janušaitis and this, and we try to figure out what happens if these two drivers finish in this order, and what needs to happen if one of the driver wants to go through to the semifinals, if there is a need for a change on the racetrack, because we have a slightly different situation. We got a chance to have a glimpse into a sheet of penalties, and we will try to use it to maybe know a situation that is happening on the racetrack at this moment, which has important battles that produce or that give the drivers important points. This is the battle. These are the quarterfinals of the TOPO Centras category in the Dream to Drive 2026 championship. And these drivers are battling for 8 spots in the semifinals. You can see how the spots look like on the spot in Vilnius, the TOPO Centras shop. Drivers are seeing each other live, racing close to each other in reality and very close on the virtual racetrack. Like Janušaitis and Viss, we had another battle between Azikiev and Zhukas. Now the gaps are slightly bigger between the drivers. There is still a small chance in position changes from P4 up to P6. But this battle is the most important one. Now let's look at the fastest lap times of the drivers in this race. This is, well, the best lap of this is half a second faster than the best lap of Janušaitis. So this definitely has a chance. With 2 laps to go on the final race, H&S safe in the lead. He'll be, well, now, after the penalties, HNS will be the second driver of 4 groups who has the chance to collect the full amount of points, a double win, which gives the driver 100 points, and that would put him second in the semi-finals. Well, second after the quarterfinals finish. But this is a very important battle between Janušaitis and this just lost out to Janušaitis out of the La Source corner through Rouge and Radion, and that's not good news. This is the penultimate time the drivers go through to the Lecombe chicane. This needs to figure out something to try and get a little bit closer to Janušaitis. He needs those points, because if he finishes third, he will end up with 50 points in total. Yeah, but still, yep, with those penalties, there are some differences, and we still need to figure out if that's gonna be enough. And my gut says that would be enough for this to go through to the semi-finals. Actually, he would be the driver with 50 points, and I think he would be right on the edge. But that's just quick thinking in my head. Maybe I'm wrong.
We're trying to calculate here.
Yep, and
because there are also penalties from race 1 already.
yep, so quite a lot of penalties in these in the 4th group. Okay, back on the racetrack as we are about to start the final lap with HNS.
So now, because of the penalties, it looks like we have 2 from each group going through. And, well, that's provisional again, because I see some incidents from races that have gone by that haven't yet been reviewed fully. So we'll see how that goes. So you'll see the official results on the World Sim Series social and Dream to Drive social media channels and on worldsimseries.com. And if you're sad that you missed the competition this year, make sure to sign up to worldsimseries.com to make sure you don't miss it next year. So worldsimseries.com, you can sign up for free, and there's a lot more than just Dream to Drive, many other races with great prizes as well, from endurance to sprint competitions. It's all there, worldsimseries.com, and you'll be able to see the final results on there as well. Here is Janušaitis on your screens. He's on course to finish second. He did get a penalty last race. That really dropped him down the field. So that is that. So it looks like this will be the one to qualify through. And HNS, because of the penalty for Viršickas, will be the only the second driver only to have a perfect afternoon, a 100-point afternoon, together with Tadas Juknevičius, who won race 1. Group 1, sorry. So race 1 and race 2, Group 1. Here's HNS, and we haven't talked much about him. We haven't shown him much because he's been so far up in front. And a perfect run from him. It's pole position and fastest in race 1 and race 2. 2 wins there. He'll be second on the ranking because he was behind in pre-qualifying, but that doesn't matter because pre-qualifying will be the tiebreaker for the semi-final as well. So it's just important to get through, and he's coming around the final corner. It is the final lap. It is a double win. Dominykas Teičinas wins once again, and he finishes ahead of Janušaitis. This then Jašinskas, Ezekiev, Žukas, Stankevičius, and that is your grid, and provisionally who we expect to qualify into the semi-finals, Tadas Juknevičius and Oskar Tomola. then Simas Vyšickas and Justas Pirinauskas, Eimantas Šetikas and Silver Joford, Dominykas Eičinas and Andrus Vis. That's what we expect. This is provisional, so hold on until we have the official results, and those will be on the social media channels for World Sim Series and Dream to Drive as well. As the drivers get out, and Lorinas will be taking the honor of interviewing our winner for race for Group 4.
Okay, it looks like we have Dominykas on our screens. I'm not sure if we are able to hear him.
Audio.
Yep. Can you hear us, Dominykas?
Yes.
Okay. So congratulations on your double win in the fourth group. You are actually only the second driver from all the four groups who managed to collect the total amount of 100 points. Congratulations on going through to the semifinals. What about the ACC platform? We know that you are good at AC. Are you prepared to challenge Juknevičius on ACC?
It's a good question, actually. I'm more familiar with the AC platform. ACC is a bit of a sort of a dark hammer for me, but hopefully everything will be fine.
Okay, from our point of view, it seemed that you have a very relaxed race and did not have a lot of things to do. What was going through your mind while you were approaching finish of the second race? Are you already thinking about the semifinals or maybe the finals already?
More to the semifinals, I believe. The finals are my probably optimistic goal for this year. There is a lot of quick drivers out there, and I believe that it will be very difficult to get to the finals, but I'll try to do the best as I can.
I mean, you are the second fastest. Well, similarly, you have the same amount of points as the fastest driver, so I'm pretty sure you are also one of the favorites in this category of TOPO Centras to go through to the finals. And, well, we will wish you luck with that. Only 1 week left to prepare. I know that the track is still unknown for the semifinals, but I'm pretty sure you will be getting ready already for the finals when you go back home. So good luck with that, and congratulations again for the win, and see you in 1 week's time.
Thank you, Lorinas.
Okay, that was thanks. Thanks for the interview. Again, that was Dominykas Eičinas, and I think we will have a chance to speak with the man himself, the one that is responsible for what's happening here, not only on our screens, but in the lives of these participants. Yes, indeed, we have Tauras Tunila, the man, the guy who created this championship. Yep, the big boss, as we call him. He's responsible for what's happening on the screen. So, hi Tauras, are you happy with how the quarterfinals went through, and are you happy with the performance of the drivers?
Yeah, so hello everybody. I'm happy, first of all, I'm happy that if we compare with the last year, we have multiple technical failures of the hardware issues. And this year we have Conspit join the championship, and the hardware had no difficulties from the very beginning till the finish. So from as an organizer perspective, I'm really happy that we had no technical faults. Also super happy about the World Sim Series infrastructure. All the servers were running great. And backing to your question, I'm the most happy I am about is not the quantity but the quality of the drivers, because we didn't saw many like massive crashes. The pace of the drivers, the winners of the groups, quite matches with the European level of drivers in Ovoko category. So yeah, I'm sure happy. I'm really happy about the improvement of the drivers overall.
Okay, so what's going to happen next now that the quarterfinals are finished? Can you walk us through about the next steps of this championship?
Yeah, so the next steps is the same two categories of Ovoko and TOPO Centras. Next weekend, on Saturday, we're gonna have Ovoko top 32 drivers from 72 showing up on Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is going to be the new challenge to adapt on the new software. And it will show the pluses, advantages of the drivers who adapt the most. And on the Sunday, we're going to have top 8 from today's. So the race stewards are going to have quite a day to review all the reports and confirm the results. And on Monday, the participants should receive invitations into the new challenge with the new track, new software, and the new car.
Okay, so history has showed that we can be really confident about the winner of the virtual racing sitting in a real car and participating in races. But this year's prize is actually, I think it's one of the biggest ones, because the winner will get a chance to hop in not in a slow tier car, but in a GT3 Cup car and straight into an endurance race. So I have to ask you again, I know that you're confident, but how confident are you that things are gonna be fine with the winner driving the real car?
So first of all, last and the previous years, all the winners showed that they are fully available and skilled to start their journey from the low-powered cars. But last year, the winner was Grantas, and Grantas was familiar with the GT cars of driving on the simulators the most, which most of the guys when they are using the simulators. So when he tried the BMW 325 Cup, for him it was much more hard to adapt, and he was much slower. Then he jumped into the Porsche GT3 Cup car, and he showed his skills from the lap 1. So I'm pretty confident of the car control of the GT car, which I'm not fully confident yet, is the racecraft in Palanga, because Palanga has really narrow streets, zero runoff areas, and quite messy cars from the technical performance side. So this is the most important moment what the sim racers will need to adapt. But taking in mind that we are not looking for the fastest Lithuanian this time, but the fastest European driver, I think the level of the driver will be quite confident for me to give him the car and represent the main car for the Palanga race, for the main team, I mean.
Okay, yeah, I'm confident about it. Definitely, whoever wins this year's championship, we've seen definitely drivers with phenomenal pace, not only Lithuanians, but also the European ones from the Ovoko category. I'm excited about the semifinals. So, yeah, thanks for the interview, thanks for the championship, and I think we'll see each other in 1 week's time for the semifinals. Yeah, this was... This was Tauras Tunila, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Tauras, the creator and the man behind the Dream to Drive Championship, the one responsible for these phenomenal experiences of a lot of participants, now not only from Lithuania, but also from all around the Europe. A big championship that just finished the second step of its way. So we had the pre-qualifying step, we had now the quarterfinals, and 2 steps to go. Semi-finals taking place in 1 week time, and after that only 6 drivers will remain to battle each other, not only on the virtual racetracks but also on a real track. You have a word on that, Gustas, or we can call it the day now?
I think that's it showed we had some great races, and I'm just very excited for the semifinals where all of these runaway leaders that had a pretty easy time will get to really fight it out. So semi-finals next week. Make sure to join us, and then finals coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. It's been the TOPO Centras quarterfinals here on World Sim Series, and see you in a week's time. Good night.
Compete in the real race, prove everything on the track, and continue to pursue the everlasting racing glory as your routine. A single clack of your wheel. The passion is engaged. All you have to do is to commit, to feel the grip in your hand, to perform every precise entry, to deliver the perfect friction circle, and to master the art of driving. You may ask, where's my race crew? And I would say, leave it to Khan's pit. Ares, the wheelbase that was built to master the competitive sim racing scene. With its powerful skew pole motor and high-precision optical encoder, Ares delivers an unparalleled driving experience with highly detailed force feedback. 290 GP, deemed to become the true next generation. It breaks the planar constraints through a unique 3D ergonomic design and redefines everything about the Formula steering wheel, featuring a full carbon fiber front housing, ensuring a light yet ultra-rigid experience. The MagFlip rocker-type paddles achieve the same functionality as Formula One setups. The CDP system will push your performance to the next level. Focus and execute the agile maneuver, all within just a blink of an eye. With this zealous combination of Ares and 290 GP, the roar of the road thrills both your hands and soul.